All the expert insights, high-level discussions, and the voices of leaders committed to delivering better services to communities across the country. That's the Clement Manyatela Show, live from the 2025 Salga National Members Assembly, this Wednesday on 702.
Thank you for joining us. It's 1 minute after 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The Hawks insist there was no interference during a raid at Katiso KT Molefe's house, and SA courts are struggling to meet their targets. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin with news just in. The International Relations Department has confirmed South Africa has officially handed over the G20 presidency to the United States of America. The handover process took place this morning. South Africa has officially handed over the G20 presidency to the United States of America. The handover process took place this morning, but it's still not clear which official from Washington received it. The White House boycotted the G20 summit and instead sent a low-level delegation led by a Charge D Affairs to receive the presidency. President Cyril Ramaphosa spokesperson Vincent Magwenya previously told the media that South Africa would not be handing over the G20 presidency to a Charge D Affairs. USA will officially assume its G20 presidency on the 1st of December. We'll shift our focus to this now. The Gauteng head of the Hawks does not believe there was any interference committed during a raid at the home of alleged crime kingpin Katiso KT Molefe. Ibrahim Kadwa told the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today that he received an instruction from former Hawks head Godfrey Libea to verify if the raid on Molefe's home was legitimate. Molefe was arrested during a December raid by members of the Political Killings Task Team and Special Task Force at his Sandhurst home. His arrest was in relation to the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. Oren Singh reports.
Gauteng Hawks head Ibrahim Kadwa says he's satisfied that there was no interference by his members during the raid at the home of Katiso KT Molefe. Kadwa deployed a team of Hawks officers to verify if the raid, being carried out by the PKTT and Special Task Force, was a legitimate police operation.
I am very satisfied that there was no interference by our officers or other officers because they just basically did the basic thing to go there. Once they confirmed they were police officers, they got some basic details and they would have left. So for me, that is definitely not interference.
Kadwa claims the Hawks officers he sent to verify if the operation was legit spent 10 minutes at Molefe's home before filing an incident report to him and leaving. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
Police Chief Financial Officer Buleng Timpane says she supported the recommendation to make the Political Killings Task Team a permanent structure due to ongoing political violence. Timpane has been giving evidence before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption. The committee is sitting at the Hoshi Mampuru prison in Pretoria today. She has been answering questions around expenditure patterns of the PKTT. Timpane says she raised concerns about the task team and how it had been in existence for about 5 years, incurring more than 430 million rand from 2018 to September this year. Babalondenze reports.
Buleng Timpane has told the committee that she is mainly responsible for expenditure planning and budgeting for the department, reporting to the National Commissioner. She says while the PKTT incurred tens of millions of rands every year since its establishment in 2018, there was nothing strange about its spending.
And they do work hard, they do claim overtime in this particular regard. So it's not anything that is strange.
But Timpane says she was concerned about its lengthy existence.
Now I raised these concerns to say the National Commissioner, this team has been in existence for a long time, and I think I've raised this earlier. It's practically impossible for me from a budget point of view to operate in this fashion. It will be best to urgently conduct a work study investigation for the establishment of a permanent structure. And I'm talking to the permanent structure that relates to PKTT in KwaZulu-Natal.
Timpane says the PKTT has been around for about 5 years and is clearly dealing with a serious problem that refuses to go away. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News at the Hosi Mampuru Correctional Facility in Pretoria.
To this now, South African courts have struggled to finalize criminal matters, with recent judiciary reports showing failure to meet targets. Chief Justice Mandisa Maya delivered annual judiciary reports for the 2023, 2024 and 2025 financial years. They give an overview of the performance of the judiciary and highlight problem areas. In the last financial year, only 73% of criminal cases were finalized, just under the 75% target. Maya has attributed this to the conduct of some accused and their legal representatives, leading to several postponements.
The national target for the reduction of criminal backlogs and finalization of criminal matters at the High Courts was not met. The reported reasons, well, some of the reported reasons for this being that cases involved multiple accused, the trials were lengthy, the matters were complex.
In the courts now, the prosecution team in the high-profile case of alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak has attempted to align evidence to show how Modak and 4 of his co-accused were allegedly involved in the attempted murder of attorney William Booth. Cell phone evidence collected by the Hawks shows how 3 of the co-accused were in constant communication before an attempt on Booth's life 5 years ago. Another accused, Zayn Killian, admits that Modak instructed him to ping Booth before the incident. Carlo Peterson reports.
State Prosecutor Greg Vormerans today used the testimony of Hawks Colonel Edward Clark to implicate accused number 4 Taufik Brown in the attempted murder of attorney William Booth. Clark's evidence shows Brown communicated with co-accused Riyad Ghasant, who previously admitted he was a shooter in the incident, and other role players, including accused number 3 Ziad Pool. Modak previously told the court he employed Pool as a bodyguard. However, he denies instructing him to orchestrate the attack on Booth. Vormerans also showed the court records of communication between Pool and Brown's wife, Kota Brown, who also admitted her involvement in the shooting.
84 calls between these two numbers, Kota Brown and the disputed number of Mr. Pool, going from the period 24 October 2019, and it ends, and this is hardly surprising, 9 days after the Booth attack.
Vormerans told the court the evidence shows the accused actions were aligned because they were all working for Modak. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
And severe flooding in southern Thailand has left at least 13 people dead across 4 provinces. Parts of the region have been left under waist-deep water after days of heavy rain. The Thai government has declared a state of emergency as forecasters warned of potential flash flooding. Rescue teams have been evacuating stranded residents using boats, jet skis and military trucks, with some families using makeshift flotation devices to escape rising waters. Thailand's rainy season typically brings intense downpours, but experts have warned that climate change is amplifying extreme and unpredictable weather patterns. Gold is trading at $4,125.16 an ounce. The rand is at 17.28 to the dollar, 22.69 to the pound, 19.94 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.38 a barrel.
Leaving Midrand heading into Centurion, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. N1 northbound from Samrand to the Brakfontein interchange in Protea Glen, Soweto. You can also expect about a 20-minute delay. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558.
In your sport, the Proteas on the brink of a first Test series win in India since 2000. Josh Hazelwood and Pat Cummings back bowling in the nets ahead of second Ashes Test. And Ruben Amorim blasts Manchester United's lack of fight in their defeat to Everton.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Gauteng head of the Hawks does not believe there was any interference committed during a raid at the home of alleged crime kingpin Katiso KT Molefe.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 11 minutes past 3 on Tuesday, the 25th of November. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. A parliamentary hearing in a high-security prison. Well, that's exactly what got underway today with the ad hoc committee investigating police corruption being held in the Kgosimampuru prison. The venue choice is due to the fact that murder-accused Kat Matlala, currently held in the jail, will be testifying later this week. We're starting to see some stories, though. We will look for confirmation, finally, of this, that Mr. Matlala is looking to have that testimony postponed. But there has been interesting testimony from another witness today. All that and more with Babalo and Denze joining us shortly. Some other stuff we're covering. The former head of the Road Accident Fund, Collins Letswalo, today failed to respond to a summons sent his way by Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts. The committee, known as SCOPA, has already heard damning evidence against Letswalo. So what does SCOPA do next? Is there anything they can do? More on that with Committee Chair Songezo Zibi after 5 o'clock. Yesterday, we spoke about people who get duped into debt relief arrangements that could turn out to be financially damaging. If you missed our conversation with Maya Fisher-French, you can pick it up on primemediaplus.com. But we thought we would invite Maya to come back today because she did say at the start of her thoughts yesterday that debt relief is not necessarily a bad thing, and that people who are practitioners of debt relief are not necessarily all involved in dubious practices. So we thought we'd pick it up and update you on that. Maya with us at 10 past 4. And as the world gets back to business with the conclusion of the G20, not that business ever stopped, but you know what I mean, I think we'll continue to look at opportunities for trading and doing business with China. That's in our regular feature on a Tuesday. China Unlocked, we'll do that at 10 to 4. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and we'll bring you the latest from the markets, where the JSE is up today, a gain of 380 points for the all-share on the back of a 1.79% jump in the resources index. Nobody absolutely shooting the lights out, just good solid gains for quite a number of companies. For example, Goldfields up by 2.9, Anglo by 2.5, MTN by 2.4. On the downside, Mr. Price weaker by 2.9%. The rand is currently trading at 17.24 against the US dollar, 3 cents stronger than this time yesterday. A euro will cost you 19 rand 88. That's a gain of 7 cents. 22 rand 63 will get you a pound. Not much movement there from this time 24 hours ago. Oil price is down. We always like that, by 31 cents. Brent crude currently trading at $63.05 a barrel. Stephen Crudis joins us with all the details at 25 past 4. Tolakele Mganga joins us with the sport, where the cricket has produced some very large numbers as well. Mbali Dlamini with the latest news headlines, and Karabo Chali keeping an eye on the roads for us. This is 702 Drive. We are live in the place where you live. If it's happening in 702 land, do help us keep to our promise of making sure you hear it here first, because we can't be everywhere and we don't know everything. So if there's something going on that we've missed, please 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. It's 3:15.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
As always, we've got plenty to talk about, lots of questions that need asking and lots to think about, including some of those interesting thoughts that pop up out of random conversations and observations. Jonathan Fairbairn, Kabazele's joined us. I have to note, wearing a white T-shirt, having told us yesterday how regularly he gets toothpaste on his clothing, so no chance of us.
Sure, I should never have mentioned that.
You
The
shouldn't have
amount of
mentioned
abuse I took yesterday on the
I
WhatsApp
know,
line.
I know, and people were saying you brush your teeth the
Yeah.
wrong way at the wrong time of day.
I feel
brush them
self-conscious
earlier.
now.
Yeah, well, you know.
Even when I went this morning to brush, I was like, I should have done it then, not now.
And at what point did you decide to wear white?
Yeah, there was no decision.
Okay.
There was no decision. And
Okay.
look, there are no, there's no Sensodyne on here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, there we go. A little bit of brand awareness there on what kind of toothpaste. So, Jonathan, you're watching a TV series that got you thinking about a question. The series and the question, please.
Yeah, it's season 2 already that we finished. It's called Nobody Wants This. And it's with Kirsten Bell, and I'm not too sure the main guy's name, but he's a rabbi. He's a rabbi, and he's head of he's in line to be the head rabbi of a specific synagogue, and he meets this woman, Kirsten Bell, and she is I think she's a Christian woman. She's not Jewish, and they end up dating, and it goes along the lines of how they navigate this relationship.
Right.
Him being Jewish, but being the almost head rabbi of the specific synagogue, and expectations of his mother and his father, his family and friends, and the congregants of his synagogue, as well as the rabbi that he's going to be taking over from. And they get into this conversation that, he doesn't expect her to convert just yet. Then, there's the dynamics that takes place, as you can imagine, in a relationship when you've got two people who are from completely different religions, and the issues that comes about that. So I was wanting to chat with, obviously, us and our 702 family about the difficulties that comes when you date somebody who is outside of your religion or who is not religious at all.
That's an interesting point as well.
Yeah. So, do you even take the chance and try and make it work and hope that maybe one converts to either side? Or do you just kind of respect each other's religions and that's that? Or do you kind of say, no, I'm not even going to try and go and struggle with that? So, it's an interesting conversation, I think.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one indeed. Love is complicated enough as it is. Refuah Letsua, something that's happened in your life, perhaps, in this particular frame of life that we're busy exploring?
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 La Familia. So something similar happened to me. So I was about 16 when I started dating this guy. He was Muslim. So he was from India, came down to South Africa. Amazing guy. And then when we were 18, he then proposed. But before proposing, he got his father to come from India to come negotiate lobola.
Okay.
And for me, I'm 18, dude. We didn't speak about this. And your father's elderly and sick. And he was like, okay, maybe not this time. You don't have to convert, because he thought maybe it was an issue that he's Indian and he thought I wanted to convert. He says there's no issue. I'm like, but I don't even know what color I like. I'm only 18,
Yes.
Then 3 years later, when I was 21, he re-proposed. Hey, listen, I love you. You've broken my heart. Let's try again. There was no issue with that. I just wasn't ready to get married. And my mom loved him. He was so respectful. My family knew him. We knew his family. It was getting very serious.
Yeah, but too soon for you, eh?
Too soon.
But would you have converted?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. I was still figuring out whether I want to eat pasta or rice, Chief. I was still naive and young. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he was nice.
Yeah. It's terrible when you run out of that excuse, by the way, and you say, well, I was still young, and then you find yourself, like at my age, going, I'm still bewildered.
Where's the proposal?
No excuse. I suppose at a certain point you can say, no, I'm older. No, it's just all confusing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I seem to be stuck in the middle. Karabo, issue, would it be an issue for you?
Well, luckily, I can describe myself as somebody who's a free spirit. I don't conform to any religion or anything. Even African traditions, I really don't follow that. So I'm not that fussy. But I remember I once kind of liked this girl, and she was heavy into African tradition, and she made it clear. Pardon?
No, I'm saying African spirituality.
Yes, African spirituality. And she made it clear, if you don't practice or acknowledge, then we're never going to work out. And I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. So we just left it there.
Yeah. No, I mean, these things come up in many ways, shapes and forms. Tell us your story if you want to share it. 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. It's 3:20. Let's just get you through the traffic that would already be building up. Karabo Charlie, what you seeing?
Yeah, not looking too bad, I must say, John. Still early days at this stage. This afternoon, still free-flowing traffic on our highways in Pretoria. However, if you are in the Joburg area, there's already some delays in Midrand heading towards Centurion. That's the N1 northbound between Samrand and the Brakfontein interchange. In Protea Glen, also expect about a 20-minute delay on the N12 westbound from the R554 Abu Bakr Drive all the way to the R558 in Calvin Alex area. Roadworks causing heavy delays. This is on the N3 in both directions between the Batlu interchange and London Road. And finally, look out for those faulty traffic lights in North Riding at Malibunga Drive and the N1 South. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Have you contacted people outside of government structures to try and understand what's happening? Because they are colleagues of yours, like Tutuzile Zuma Sambula. Do you think you can seek clarity from her as a committee?
This is a very serious matter in as far as the law of South Africa is concerned. So we can't adopt some informal processes because we know each other. So it's not going to work that way. Unless herself she volunteers clarity, we will stick to the institutional arrangements to deal with this matter, not on the basis of you knowing me and vice versa.
Okay.
We're expecting her in the meeting tomorrow.
Great. Maybe she can also answer some questions as well.
We hope so.
Supra Mahoma Pelu is the Portfolio Committee Chair on International Relations and Cooperation.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Total Energies. Their corporate affairs and CSI manager, Talita Sachane, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani Sixt now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la. Just book directly on sani.co.za. Call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani Sixt and win. T's and C's apply.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Panthers Challenge Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million rand jackpot when you bet 5 rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Kanti Pai, why was the G20 important?
What we've been able to do to put together this event, this meeting, and, its outcomes really actually also is an important marker in terms of people, trusting us, our reputation, that we can do things, that we are capable. And that's something very important, especially when people think about investment, when think about actually, the state of the country and whether or not they can move them.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story and inviting you to write it with them. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, 25 minutes past 3. Let's take ourselves, you are hearing me correctly, inside the Kgosi Mampuru prison, where our colleague Babalo Ndenze is attending a rather unusual session of Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption. Now, they're there because one of the people who's been named in both processes, this commission and the Madlanga Commission, his name has come up regularly and repeatedly, and indeed did so in that July press conference that was called by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Vusimuzi Kat Matlala was supposed to be testifying later this week, and the session has moved up to the Pretoria-based prison for exactly that reason. We'll talk about what's been discussed today, but there does seem now to be news that Mr. Matlala's legal counsel are saying they want to postpone his testimony. Very good afternoon to you, Babalo and Denze. Let's just go with the latest news now. What are Mr. Matlala's lawyers saying? Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, John, and to the listeners. Simuzi Kat Matlala's legal counsel basically informing the committee and its members that he doesn't seem to be prepared for this week's hearings, which are scheduled to sit from tomorrow until Friday. It's either Wednesday and Thursday, and it might spill over to Friday, depending on whether the members have been able to finish their questioning or their testimony with Kat Matlala. But now it looks like his legal counsel, his lawyers, are saying that he might not be prepared for this week and would like to give him a bit more time. So it's not really a case of him getting cold feet, but it looks like he wants to prepare himself a bit further, because you do know that he's also facing other unrelated charges. He's actually at Jose Mampudo for an attempted murder charge that he's facing, and he's also got a litany of other charges related, to his alleged criminal life. So he's telling the committee that he might not be prepared, but the committee itself has not really discussed this correspondence from his lawyers in today's meeting. They might discuss it after this hearing with Buleng Timpano, the CFO of the police, who's actually taking questions right now from members. But at the moment, John, it looks like Kat Matlala, the committee might be discussing this matter or this issue soon after this testimony from Timpane, which I don't think will last very long because the members of the committee are really asking just a few questions each. It looks like they're quite satisfied with her responses. But the Kat Matlala issue definitely is going to come up on the agenda later this afternoon.
So we'll certainly hear more details, I would think, about what the basis for the request for postponement is. Take us back to the beginning of your day, Babalo, before we hear what General Timpane had to say. In your long and interesting career in journalism, I would have thought this was a first. Checking into the prison is one thing. I assume you're confident they're going to let you out.
Yes, indeed. Quite. They will let. It looks like. They're quite prepared for this Kat Matlala hearing.
Yes.
It's quite. There's a lot of security. It's beefed up security. A lot of DCS. Security personnel here, heavily armed. Protective gear, protective armored gear as well, and they're basically just monitoring the situation and keeping us safe. The area itself has been cordoned off. The streets that lead up to this hall on the property, which is not far from the maximum security section where Kat Matlala and also other prisoners that are quite high profile, like Thabo Bester, are also based in the same area. So it looks like they are quite well prepared for any eventuality when it comes to Kat Matlala's appearance, and it looks like it's going to be something that's going to happen until the end of the week. And when one looks around, there are also OB vans from the media companies as well as ambulances and police vehicles here as well. I guess for extra security, also accompanying the police officials that are here. It's the CFO. She's come with the team as well. She's here with a legal representative from the police, one of their legal officials from the head office. They're all here. So, it's definitely unusual, but it looks like they're quite well prepared for any eventuality. And for the media contingent that's expected here tomorrow, not so many people here today, I guess it's because it's the CFO only today, but I'm sure we're going to see more people here tomorrow from media as well as more security, not just from DCS, but also from the South African Police Service.
Thank you so much, Babalo and Denzel. We'll keep a very close eye on things. So the current witness about to wrap up, and then we're going to find out, I'm sure, what the Commission has to say about this postponement request. 29 minutes past 3.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What is the status of the Hawks investigation into this matter?
What we can confirm is the Hawks at this stage is that, yes, we've received 2 dockets so far, the one that is registered by Mrs. Zuma Ngube and the other one that was now filed by Duduzile Zuma.
So you mentioned a document from Zuma Sambudla.
No, a docket. She also opened a docket. She opened a case of fraud against an individual that is alleged to be maybe one of the masterminds in these issues.
Brigadier Nomtandazo Mbambo.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Don't miss out on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for 57 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 51 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 6 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Let's live more. Bring your daydreams to life with Norwegian Cruise Line, sailing to over 400 exciting destinations around the world on 21 spectacular ships. Explore iconic landmarks in Europe, hop islands in the Caribbean, and much more. When it comes to dream holidays, think NCL. For the best cruise deals, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
702 was in conversation with 10X Investments on 702 Drive with John Perlman, discussing how South Africans can secure and build their future financial wealth one smart investment at a time.
You hit the nail on the head there. There's so much information online these days, very few places that have everything at once. So I think the first one is, how does an investor actually source all the information that they need to know? Another sort of pitfall that I see investors make sometimes is they don't shop around, and they also don't choose different types of investment companies to get a difference in opinion.
10X your future. Find out more at 10x.co.za. 10X is a licensed FSP provider.
Right, let's get the latest news. Mpali Dlamini, good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The International Relations Department has confirmed South Africa has officially handed over the G20 presidency to the United States of America. The handover process took place this morning, but it's still not clear which official from Washington received it. The White House boycotted the G20 summit and instead sent a low-level delegation to receive the presidency. But South Africa's presidency previously told the media that South Africa would not be handing over the G20 presidency to low-level representatives from the US. The USA will officially assume its G20 presidency on the 1st of December. At the same time, the Gauteng government has assured the public it will maintain its service delivery momentum post the G20 summit. The provincial government held a media briefing in Johannesburg today where the world event was declared a success. Gauteng says there were no reported interruptions to water, electricity or sewage systems during this time. Thabiso Koba reports.
In the days leading up to the G20 summit, Gauteng municipalities ramped up their service delivery obligations, daily street cleaning, potholes being fixed and dead street lights being replaced. Law enforcement authorities were also out in their numbers doing patrols. This led to criticism in some quarters that this only happened because of the G20 summit. However, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says that's not the case.
When we defeated load shedding just prior to elections, we're told that we defeated load shedding because there were elections. And now we are beyond elections. Load shedding is still not there. But people didn't believe that. Even now, we are told that we are putting a lipstick on a pig purely because of G20. We want to commit that we are going to go beyond G20.
Lesufi says some of the operations, like increased police visibility, will require additional budget to sustain. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
The Cooperative Governance Department in KwaZulu-Natal has called for the prioritization of all affected flood victims in New Hanover following devastating floods. MEC Thulasizwe Buthelezi says the line of response should be primarily focused on saving lives. Buthelezi visited the area today. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
Disaster management teams are continuing with search and rescue efforts as 2 people are still unaccounted for in New Hanover following devastating floods. During the evacuation process, a number of the affected people fled the provided community shelter. Authorities say they later learned that those who fled were mostly Lesotho nationals who are likely in the country illegally. During his visit to the area today, KZN Kokta MEC Thulasizwe Buthelezi said the important task at hand is to save all lives.
And for us now is that we must secure lives, whether they are South Africans or whether they are Basotho. What is important is that they must be safe. We must provide a secure environment for them. We must provide shelter. We must provide food. And we must provide clothing so that they are protected from the weather conditions.
He says the process of profiling and identification will only be done once all victims have been catered to. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News.
And further afield, the trial of the man accused of driving into crowds during the victory parade of Liverpool Football Club in May this year has gotten underway today. 54-year-old Paul Doyle is alleged to have intentionally driven into people as they were leaving the celebrations. According to police, he followed an ambulance down the closed Water Street after officers had cleared a path for a medical emergency. 4 people, including a child, were trapped under his vehicle and had to be freed by lifting the car. It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees.
Leaving Midrand heading towards Centurion, expect about a 20-minute delay on the N1 northbound between Olifantsfontein Road and the Brakfontein interchange, Protea Glen. Also about a 20-minute delay on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558.
The top story in EWN, the International Relations Department has confirmed South Africa has officially handed over the G20 presidency to the United States of America.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Can you please highlight countries that you think are really on the up and up when it comes to luxury travel?
So I think if you look at southern Africa, I'm still of the view that Johannesburg is a very low-hanging fruit, right? There is a need to do something different in Johannesburg. This is the economic powerhouse. It's one of the reasons why we opened a Park Hyatt in the heart of Johannesburg, because at the end of the day, you've got to make luxury work in places which aren't straightforward. For me, Johannesburg provides a great canvas and opportunity set.
Hamza Farouki, who is founder and CEO of Military Global.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Study your law degree at Regenesis Law School in Sandton or online and build a successful future with leading multinational corporations, or launch your own legal practice. A Regenesis law degree is profoundly transformational, shaping intellectually sharp, fearless warriors of justice and purpose-driven lawyers. Regenesis is Africa's fastest-growing education institution, with 1,000 multinational clients across 12 countries and a faculty of 100 industry experts. Enroll now for your law degree at Regenesis Law School at law.regenesis.net.
Team, summer is game time in Mzansi. Every tap, scan, swipe, it all adds up. And FNB is giving us big rewards, partner deals, e-bucks, defense tips, and chances to score experiences money can't buy. But you're only in the game if you pay with FNB. So stay sharp, spend clever, and let's dominate. Get in the game with FNB. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Land Bank Limited, Northrise FSP and Credit Provider, NCRCP 20, T's and C's, earn rules and limits apply.
Managing all your office communications, including incoming and outgoing calls at the same time, can be tough. Trust Telkom Business to simplify your communication lines. Perfect for any business looking to expand further with the ultimate unified communication solution. Get the fully installed hybrid PABX EMG 100 system starting from just 599 Rand per month with an additional 10% off.
This Black Friday, your business deserves the best. Visit telkom.co.za/business. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. It's Anastasia. I was dating a Christian. Okay, she's my wife. So I pretended to be a Christian. Then later on, I started talking small things like, do you think really someone can be born without a father? Do you think someone can live without 3 days without oxygen? So yeah, now we are good. Yeah, she's not that strong Christian, but just for community, she's there. But otherwise, yeah, no, we are good. She also believes like I do. Thank you.
Good afternoon, John. This is Sim. I really believe that people should stick to those who are, they should stick to dating people who are from the same religion as they are. Because the problem is going to come when one of the partners has to convert and he or she doesn't want to. Another problem is that when two of you are going to have children, whose religion are they going to follow? That's where the problem is. I mean, it's bad enough when you're coming from two different cultural backgrounds. Say the woman is Zulu and I'm Mopedi. It's difficult. So it's best to stick to people whose religion is similar to yours. That's the best way to go.
Yeah, so the question we were asking earlier, if you have just joined us and missed where we set it up, the conversation was, have you dated people with different religious beliefs to your own? Of course, for Kunedi, this is not an issue because it says, as an atheist, everyone is outside my beliefs. Luke says, yes, I'm a Christian. I dated a Muslim woman for 4 years. Tankiso says, yes, and I did not like it. And we got a few others. Welatini says, I'm not religious, so, and sends us the shrugging emoji. And King says, having presumably done so, says, I regret it. Mari Singh says, I have no religion. Keep those comments coming on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 17 minutes now to forward sports time.
EWN Sport.
So Tolakele, South Africa, day 4 of the second test. I must admit, I thought South Africa batted too long. Before we hear from the coach, what were your thoughts?
I also thought it was to the point where you kind of want to press home your advantage, but don't get too comfortable where all of a sudden you can go from a win to a draw. But I think that's why Shukri Conrad gets the top job and we're just watching from home.
What's
he
saying?
Knows exactly what he wants to do, John. And India reached stumps on day 4 of that second test on 27 for the loss of 2, still needing an unlikely 522 more runs for victory against South Africa. Earlier, Tristan Stubbs scored 94 as the Proteas declared their second innings on 260 for 5 to set India a record victory target of 549. The Proteas kept on batting despite the lead crossing 500 in the second session, and Shukri Conrad said they wanted to make sure they ended India's hopes of a series-leveling win.
The bowlers spent a lot of time out there. We saw the effects of batting for 2 full days in the first innings and what sort of effect it had on them. It's never going to be easy for the opening batters to come this evening, especially new ball, shadows across the wicket. We felt we could have struck there. So if tomorrow evening it comes that we have them 8 down and people say, well, see, told you so, we've got to base it on our sound judgment, and if that doesn't work out well, it doesn't, but I don't think there's a right and wrong in any of this.
Josh Hazlewood and Pat Cummins bowled in the nets today as Australia were boosted ahead of the second Ashes test against England next week. Hazlewood hasn't been seen since tweaking his hamstring in a Sheffield Shield clash that was 6 days before the opening test in Perth, while Cummins was absent with a lingering back injury and had to be replaced by Scott Boland. Over to the Premier League, where Manchester United suffered a 1-0 defeat to 10-man Everton in a game that was overshadowed by Idrissa Gueye's sending off following a confrontation with teammate Michael Keane. Gueye has since issued a grovelling apology to his teammates for his moment of madness, adding that nothing justifies his behaviour. For Ruben Amorim, that defeat saw his side's 5-match unbeaten run come to an end, while fans booed the team off the pitch at the final whistle.
We can fight with the teammates. I know it's a violent conduct, the referee explained. I don't agree with that. I hope my players, when they lose the ball, they fight each other. Now, they cannot do it, it's a send-off. But that is a good feeling, not a bad feeling. Again, my players show in many games that we can do it. Today, we didn't. I need to help them. We are going to be better in the future. Today, we are really frustrated.
And Player of the Year Malcolm Marx is one of 6 South Africans in World Rugby's Dream Team. That follows another successful year for Rassie Erasmus, double world champions. Teammates Peter Steph du Toit, Oxen Chair, Thomas du Toit, Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu and Cheslin Colby are also named in the 15. In total, 7 nations are represented in World Rugby's Team of the Year. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Eyewitness News traffic with Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. So it's getting busy now. It's getting busy in Midrand.
Yeah, heading towards Centurion, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. John, this is in the Midrand area. N1 northbound between Olifantsfontein Road and the Brakfontein interchange in Protea Glen. Soweto traffic remains sluggish. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 Calvin. Alex roadworks causing delays still. Heading towards Germiston, N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and London Road. Traffic is also backing up in the Bryanston area heading towards Fourways. That's the N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If it's plumbing, you'll find it at Plumlink, South Africa's largest plumbing retailer. From pipes, fittings, geysers, and baths to basins, taps, tools, and accessories, we've got it all. With more than 10,000 quality products at the right price and over 150 stores nationwide, there's always a Plumlink near you, ready to help with expert advice and unbeatable value. Find your nearest branch today at plumlink.coza.
Plumlink, your local plumbing store. 702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Okay, we are having a little problem with the WhatsApps. That will be sorted out in no time at all. So please make sure you send us yours. 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's 12 minutes to 4. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll be talking to Oren Singh. He's covering the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Very important testimony today about the circumstances around the arrest of Katiso Mulife. That's coming up with Oren at about 10 minutes to 5. And then a conversation after 5. I must admit, I don't know what the Standing Committee on Public Accounts does now. They have tried on numerous occasions and in various ways to serve a summons on the former CEO of the Road Accident Fund, Collins Letswalo, who has articulated his unwillingness to attend a hearing looking into the business of the RAF. Now, so much has already been said about what went on at the RAF under Mr. Letswalo's leadership, but he appears to be unwilling to attend. So what's Parliament's next move? And what are they doing with the information they have already uncovered? Songezo Zibi joining us for that a little bit later in the show. Coming up now for 10 minutes to 4.
Drive Home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, this is, of course, very topical given all the conversations that have gone on around the G20 and global trade and issues connected to that. We call it China Unlocked, and it's brought to you by Standard Bank Business and Commercial. Unlock China for your business. Find partners, cut costs, and grow. For African SMEs, accessing China is about scale and sustainability. With imports from China being larger than African exports, CIIE and FHC 2025 provides a unique platform for African exporters to showcase themselves to a significant customer base. Crucially, China recently announced zero tariff access for all African countries, excluding Eswatini, offering a runway for African businesses to diversify markets, mitigate risk, and build strong buyer relationships. Today on China Unlocked, we are talking to Tembe Dlamini, the head of Africa-China banking at Standard Bank. She'll tell us more about why Standard Bank takes part in these events, how they've been impactful, and more, right here on 702. Tembe Dlamini, welcome to 702. It's great to have you with us on the show.
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. John, and good afternoon to your listeners, and thank you for having me once again.
So you and the rest of the Standard Bank team, you've been out for a 2-week trade mission, took part in the Chinese International Import Expo. There was Pro Wine, Shanghai, and Food Hospitality China. Can you give us a sense of what you heard or saw at these events that maybe suggest something's happened in 2025 that wasn't happening in 2024, if anything at all?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. John. So we've just come back, as you've highlighted, from the China International Import Expo. This is a high-impact expo for business clients that are seeking exposure into the Chinese market, and we've been part of this since 2018. It takes place every year. It's a bit of a bigger scale in terms of it brings in the world to China from a global exposure, so it's not just Africa, but all the other exporters that are looking to bring in products into the Chinese market. So as Standard Bank, it has given our clients the opportunity to showcase diverse African products. We've showcased from cosmetics, teas, wine, and drawing strong interest in deal closures as well as some distribution partnerships, as you would have seen with the discussion or conversation that you had with Commune Tea last week. So we give them the opportunity for matchmaking, introduce them to vetted buyers, but also just give them a platform where Chinese buyers can access their products. For the past 2 years, we've been very fortunate to participate in Pro Wine. As much as we love our wine in South Africa, it is relatively unknown in the Chinese market. And a show like Pro Wine Shanghai gives us the opportunity to actually educate more of the Chinese market around South African wines and elevate the knowledge around South African wines and grow our exports of wines into China.
Do finish your point.
And this year, we actually, for the first time, as you had mentioned, we took part in Food and Hospitality China. This is more tailored for the finished products or agro-processed products. Again, is highlighting the growth of our teas, such as rooibos, and also other products that you can source directly from South Africa. So this was a great new opportunity for us to participate in, also just growing the footprint of and knowledge of South African products into the Chinese market.
So I'm interested, for example, you mentioned Pro Wine Shanghai, and in that you cooperate with, for example, Wines of South Africa and possibly other entities. To what extent are we working on this collectively? I know that Standard Bank has very much gotten, as for some time now, had China in their sights. But is there a lot of teamwork going on, particularly given the state of international trade and the massive disruptions around things like tariffs?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a collaboration that we started with Wines of South Africa. in partnership as well with Westgrow, the Tourism Trade and Investment Promotion Agency of the Western Cape. It's an important partnership for us because, as you know, we are a bank and our core focus is really to provide market access for our clients, assist with facilitation in terms of payment structures, finance structures, and fund them. But the partnership with the likes of Wines of South Africa, they help us then from a project implementation perspective because the promotion of wine is what they are good at. For an example, this year we held 2 master classes. One was actually hosted by a well-known wine master from China. It was hosted in Mandarin, and they were really able to go into the technical expertise of wine production in South Africa, including the historical aspect of why South African wines, and also just getting the information out there. So that typically becomes the type of partnership that we put together in collaborations with the likes of Wines of South Africa as well as Westgrow.
And just finally, I mean, looking ahead to 2026, I don't know if the conversations at the G20 have any direct bearing on the kind of things that you and the Standard Bank team, Ms. Dlamini, are trying to do in terms of building Africa-China relationships. But do you have any particular plans for 2026 that we ought to look out for?
Yes, absolutely. I think what has really come out, particularly out of those discussions, is the growth of intra-Africa trade. I think we've established ourselves quite well in the Africa-China corridor. Next year, we actually, for the first time, will be hosting the China-Africa Economic Trade Expo in South Africa. But what we're also looking, and we've already started through certain partnerships, is to give our clients access to various markets. We've just sent a delegation for a trade mission into the likes of Ghana, Kenya. So we will continue with that work, creating more market exposure into Africa regions, ensuring that South African businesses can access those markets and have the right information as well as resources for them to actually grow in those markets.
Thanks very much, Sitembile Dlamini, Head of Africa-China Banking at Standard Bank. Unlock China's potential for your business right now. With zero tariffs on South African exports and a world-class supply chain, China is open for growth. For over a decade, Standard Bank has helped entrepreneurs connect with trusted partners, manage risk and deliver results end-to-end. Don't miss out. Speak to Standard Bank Business and Commercial Banking and unlock your next big opportunity today. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
Call John
on 011
883
0702.
Relationships with people who are of a different faith to you, or perhaps you are someone who doesn't particularly see themselves as religious at all. Anne's calling from Florida to join in the conversation. Hi, Anne.
Hi, I'm just phoning about that. My husband is Jewish and I'm Catholic.
Okay.
And we've been married for nearly 53 years.
53, okay. That's good going.
Yeah, that's good going. And neither of us changed our religion. I'm still Catholic and he's not very religious, but he's Jewish by culture more.
So Anne, I don't know if you had kids, but if you did, how did you navigate that?
Well, they were brought up Catholic because I wasn't Jewish, so they couldn't be Jewish.
Okay.
And after they were confirmed, they went their own way. Obviously, we did our bit, and they chose their own way afterwards.
And thank you. 53 years. Good going indeed. 702 Drive.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
One body has been recovered from a river in KwaZulu-Natal as a search for 2 more missing people continues. The victims were washed away yesterday during floods in New Hanover in the Midlands.
The teams are working to recover one body, that of a female, that is entrapped in the river. The MEC for Kokta, Reverend Lasisi Buthelezi, has assured residents that disaster management teams will work right throughout the clock to ensure that those that are missing are recovered.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
For over a decade, Aluma Capital has had one simple mission: to help you secure the financial future you deserve. Over the past 10 years, they've empowered thousands of clients with personalized strategies, expert advice, and impressive returns of up to 13.2%. Whether it's growing wealth, securing retirement, or planning for the unexpected, Aluma Capital is there every step of the way. Visit aluma.co.za today. Aluma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
As an FSCA regulated broker, Prime XBT gives you the confidence to trade market volatility your way. Enjoy low trading fees, advanced tools across crypto futures and CFDs, and VIP discounts of up to 70% available to new traders. Take advantage of free deposits and withdrawals with crypto options and local South African payment methods. Prime XBT, empowering traders to succeed. Trade responsibly. Trading comes with risk.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for general practitioners, dentists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Kuveni.
It's so nice to know the business risk is taken care of by Business Outsurance. The call center was just a dream to deal with. Very seamless, easy experience, and it just feels like the people we're talking to on the other line understand our needs.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
This is EWN.
Vusimuzi Kat Matlala says he isn't prepared to appear before MPs, while the Hawks insist there was no interference during a raid at Katiso KT Molefe's house. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin with news just in. Alleged criminal kingpin Vusimuzi Kat Matlala wants a postponement of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption. Matlala's lawyers have written to the committee seeking the postponement, citing poor prison conditions. They say Matlala has not had enough time to prepare for his appearance, also raising concerns over his health and mental capacity. The committee moved its proceedings to the Kgosi Mampuru prison from today ahead of Matlala's scheduled appearance tomorrow. Matlala has been named by several witnesses as allegedly having an influence on major policing matters. To this now, the Gauteng head of the Hawks does not believe there was any interference committed during a raid at the home of alleged crime kingpin Katiso KT Molefe. Ibrahim Kadwa told the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today that he received an instruction from former Hawks head Godfrey Libea to verify if the raid on Molefe's home was legitimate. Molefe was arrested during a December raid by members of the Political Killings Task Team and Special Task Force at his luxury Sandhurst home. His arrest was in relation to the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. Oren Singh reports.
Gauteng Hawks head Ibrahim Kadwa says he's satisfied that there was no interference by his members during the raid at the home of Katiso KT Molefe. Kadwa deployed a team of Hawks officers to verify if the raid being carried out by the PKTT and Special Task Force was a legitimate police operation.
I am very satisfied that there was no interference by our officers or other officers because they just basically did the basic thing to go there. Once they confirmed they were police officers, they got some basic details and they would have left. So for me, that is definitely not interference.
Kadwa claims the Hawks officers he sent to verify if the operation was legit spent 10 minutes at Molefe's home before filing an incident report to him and leaving. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
We shift our focus to this now. South African courts have struggled to finalize criminal matters with recent judiciary reports showing failure to meet targets. Chief Justice Mandisa Maya delivered annual judiciary reports for the 2023, 2024 and 2025 financial years. This gives an overview of the performance of the judiciary and highlights some problem areas. In the last financial year, only 37% of criminal cases were finalized, just under the 75% target. Maya has attributed this to the conduct of some accused and their legal representatives, leading to several postponements.
The national target for the reduction of criminal backlogs and finalization of criminal matters at the High Courts was not met. The reported reasons, well, some of the reported reasons for this being that cases involved multiple accused, the trials were lengthy, the matters were complex.
Preliminary projections from the Gauteng government show the province's economy received an injection of between 1 to 3 billion rand from the G20 summit. The event saw heads of state and diplomats from across the globe flock to the province for a series of talks and events. Today, the Gauteng government held a post-G20 media briefing where it declared the event a success. Thabiso Koba reports.
While Johannesburg was the host city for the G20 summit, Ekurhuleni and Tshwane held multiple ancillary events. The OR Tambo International Airport reported high volumes ahead of the event as the world descended on Gauteng. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says the exposure received by the province during this time is priceless.
This was a resounding economic support for our province. Preliminary reports indicate that weekend alone, Gauteng's got an investment amount close to between 1 billion and 3 billion rands, even though we are still consolidating these figures from the hotels, travel agencies, and institutions that share their statistics with our institutions.
Gauteng's Finance Department says the final consolidated figures on G20's economic impact will be announced during the medium-term budget statement early next year. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And severe flooding in southern Thailand has left at least 13 people dead across 4 provinces. Parts of the region have been left under waist-deep water after days of heavy rain. The Thai government has declared a state of emergency as forecasters warn of potential flash flooding. Rescue teams have been evacuating stranded residents using boats, jet skis and military trucks, with some families using makeshift flotation devices to escape the rising water. Thailand's rainy season typically brings intense downpours, but experts have warned that climate change is amplifying extreme and unpredictable weather patterns. Gold is trading at $4,125.16 an ounce. The rand is at 17.27 to the dollar, 22.69 to the pound, 19.92 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.37 a barrel.
In Midrand, heading towards Centurion, expect more than a 30-minute delay N1 northbound between Olifantsfontein Road and the Brakfontein interchange, while in Blue Hills there's an accident scene causing some delays approaching the intersection of the R55 and Summit Road, and in Protea Glen traffic remains sluggish on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558.
In your sport, the Proteas on the brink of a first Test series win in India since 2000. Josh Hazelwood and Pat Cummings back bowling in the nets ahead of second Ashes Test. And Ruben Amorim blasts Manchester United's lack of fight in their defeat to Everton.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 10 degrees, peaking at a high of 25. Pretoria 13 and 27, and Vereeniging 16 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: alleged criminal kingpin Vusimuzi Madlanga wants a postponement of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. It's good to have you with us on the show at 8 minutes past 4. I never studied statistics and I'm not the world's best at numbers. But I have to say this about what the Premier of Gauteng has said about preliminary projections in regard to Gauteng's benefit from the G20. Suggests we might have received an injection of between 1 and 3 billion rand. That's a variance of 2 billion rand. And I just wonder, what is the value of those kind of projections if the margin between the bottom end and the top is so wide? People who deal in statistics, I mean, perhaps you can give me some guidance on that. I don't know what preliminary means. It may be very, very preliminary, but does that have any more value than a guesstimate or a hope? A variance of 1 to 2 to 3 billion rand. That seems very wide to me. I wonder when we'll get the exact figure. And indeed, by the way, if you're a statistician versed in these matters or an economist, how do we ever establish exactly what it is that we did benefit from by way of quantifying the investment numbers out of that? Anyway, I just wonder why announce these things if you are as unsure as those numbers seem to suggest. 7:02 Drive, it's 10 minutes past 4. Coming up on the show, what is debt review exactly and why does it have a value? We're going to talk about that because yesterday we spoke about people getting cold called and sucked into financially damaging and possibly illegal debt review processes that they weren't even very sure they signed up for. Maya Fisher-French was with us. She's an award-winning financial journalist. She was with us yesterday, but coming back today to just continue the conversation and look in a more rounded way at debt review, which she did kick off yesterday's contribution by saying she's not opposed to it when it's done honestly and properly and with the full knowledge of the people who are the subject of that review. Maya joining us in about 5 minutes' time. You heard Oren Singh from the Madlanga Commission during the news, a full report from him on that at 10 to 5. And then a little bit later in the show, we've got a great idea for talking music with you. That's coming up your way at 20 to 6. That's something I always enjoy and look forward to, particularly on the show. We asked you about dating and getting involved with and possibly even getting married to people who don't share the same religion as you. Some people have said, I'm not religious at all. It's a non-issue, but for some people it is. And we've been taking your voice notes on that.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Dr. John 702 Lenders, what an interesting discussion you're having. My experience, it doesn't work. It does not work. One must really always burn down and compromise to be on the other one's part. And you feel yours is also stronger. So it really does not work. Practically, I come from the royalty and we do a lot of traditional things, and the person was just more about Christianity, which there's nothing wrong with it, but obviously when I do what I prefer or how I grew up, it was a big problem, and that made us clash like all the time. So for me, my experience, it doesn't work. Completely not, unfortunately. Thanks guys for a great show.
Yeah, do keep those coming on 072 702 1702, 12 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. SAA now operates 2 flights a day to Gaborone with morning and afternoon departures. Book now at flysaa.com. Karabo Charlie, how are we looking?
Well, we're still in Midrand heading towards Centurion. You can expect about a 30-minute delay on the N1 northbound between the Patlu interchange and the Brakfontein interchange. While in Blue Hills, there's an accident scene causing some delays approaching the intersection of the R55 and Summit Road. While in Protea Glen, Soweto, traffic remains sluggish. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. In Kelvin, Alex heading towards Germiston Roadworks causing heavy delays. N3 southbound between the Patlu interchange and London Road. And finally in Ekurhuleni, Benoni Boksburg area, there's slow-moving traffic on Atlas Road approaching North Rand Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Experience Johannesburg to Gaborone with South African Airways, where comfort meets convenience. Enjoy premium service, flexible morning and afternoon departures, and the warm hospitality SAA is known for. For a limited time, return fares start from just 2,762 Rand, all-inclusive. Book by the 4th of December at flysaa.com. South African Airways, bringing you closer. T's and C's apply.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What is the status of the Hawks investigation into this matter?
What we can confirm is the Hawks at this stage is that, yes, we've received 2 dockets so far, the one that is registered by Mrs. Zuma Ngube and the other one that was now filed by Zuma.
So you mentioned a document from Zuma Sambudla.
No, a docket. She also opened a docket. She opened a case of fraud against an individual that is alleged to be maybe one of the masterminds in these issues.
Brigadier Nomtandazo Mbambo.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Don't miss out on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for 57 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 51 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 6 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
So, Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to WeBuyCars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So, where did you hear about WeBuyCars?
All of my friends are using WeBuyCars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. WeBuyCars. Geared for success. Geared for you.
It's amazing what help can do. Help can take you from smart money moves to smart gadgets and household must-haves. With an FNB Premier Credit or Fusion card, get up to 40% back in e-bucks on devices and appliances. Open any FNB Premier account today, celebrating 25 years of helping you live the Premier life. FNB, help changes everything. TC's earn rules apply while stocks last. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702 and the Discam Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
What I've experienced working with young people is the massive lack of father figures is actually playing out in a specific way.
So where do we start?
The younger you can get these kids, the more easy and susceptible they are. Also, on the other side, in sports teams, there's always been this culture of initiation. If we have to look back in Molliton, with those boys. So it's almost like sick masculinity that just keeps on repeating itself. Hence, the boys are actually doing what they're doing. If we can get that out of teams, then we can actually nip it in the bud.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Discam Foundation, caring for the community on 702. You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We're going to be chatting, I suspect, for a couple of days on this show about issues of debt relief. We were prompted into this yesterday, if you might have missed the show, by firstly a call that Kabazela got where, he was asked a couple of questions about accounts and stuff like that. Then suddenly gets a WhatsApp saying that this company that contacted him now appears to kind of have their claws into him in various ways, all around consolidating his debt. And then that prompted a whole lot of calls from listeners saying that they had been experienced something similar to extremely detrimental effect. And mixed into all of that conversation was Maya Fisher-French, award-winning financial journalist and editor of Maya on Money at News 24. Also, you can follow what she writes about and ideas she has at the Maya on Money website. Yesterday, Maya was talking about this abuse of debt relief, but we thought we'd get her back just to talk about debt review itself. And Maya, very good afternoon to you, because you did start off by saying that debt review actually is not something you regard as a bad thing before we got into some of the issues where this has been abused by people who are unscrupulous and look to prey on people who may be going through some difficulties. So let's go back to the beginning. I mean, what is debt review and why do we have it?
Debt review was designed for people who are over indebted and genuinely unable to meet their monthly repayments. And it's actually quite cutting edge. We're one of the very few countries in the world that offer this. And it's seen as a way to help consumers who may otherwise end up with judgments against them or even lose their home or car. So basically, the debt counselor does an affordability assessment. They work out what the consumer can actually afford once they've paid their needs, their day-to-day expenses, and they go negotiate on behalf of that consumer with the credit providers. And often in this negotiation, the credit providers come to the party, they reduce the interest rates in order for this debt to be paid off over the next 5 years. So we do often see this. And I must say, I do believe in debt review. I've seen many cases of people where it's completely changed their finances, suddenly going from a 28% interest rate down to maybe a 1 or 2% interest rate so that they can pay off their debt quicker. Then what happens is the consumer, effectively it's a consolidation of debt because the consumer pays a single debit order each month. The debt counselor uses something called a payment distribution agent, or a PDA,
Right.
that ensures the money is paid through to the creditors. But I think, John, what's really important to understand, and this is, so it all sounds great, and you're all like, oh yeah, this sounds like for me, it is a court-ordered agreement that you can only exit after all your debts are settled. And during this period, you may not access any credit, including any of your existing credit lines. And that is, I think, what catches out a lot of people.
So Maya, tell us a little bit more about the debt counsellors themselves. So you've made it clear this flows out of a court process. The court monitors and ensures that you stick to it and you don't just say, well, you know, I was in, but then I decided I've had enough of this, and then come back a little bit later. What kind of skills and qualities do debt counsellors have and bring to bear on something that I would have thought is pretty complex?
John, I think you've actually hit the nail on the head with that question, because this is the challenge. Right now, debt counselling, and you do, I think, a week-long course, you get a certificate and you are now a debt counsellor, and that's pretty much it. And, you know, I agree with you. I think we need to see a lot more professionalisation in something that this is as complex as this, and where advice needs to be given to consumers. But right now, at this stage, you don't really need much to become a debt counsellor or to start a debt counselling business. And yeah, you just need to register with the National Credit Regulator and get onto the system is called the Debt Help System. And once you're on that and you're a registered debt counsellor, you kind of have carte blanche to provide debt counselling services.
How do fees work then? Because I think that might give us some clues as well as to where the eye of reform ought to go if they're going to really, you know, get us out of the kind of stuff we were talking about yesterday, Maya. I mean, would a debt counsellor get a commission as, for example, let's just say I'm the person going through debt review, every time payments are made to the person who sold me furniture and the person who sold me a car, do they then give the debt counsellor an agreed upon fee? Is it statutory?
Yeah, so there are fees that are recommended. There's a whole, the minute you start talking about fees, you get 50 different versions of what people think is statutory and what is recommended and all the rest of it. But basically, there are a couple of fees. There is a once-off application fee. There's an administration fee. And then the bigger fee is what they call the restructuring fee. So that's what it costs them to restructure your debt, to go speak to all your credit providers. And then there is, of course, the legal fees, if they have to go to the magistrate's court to apply for the debt review court order. All of these fees, just generally speaking, the first 2 months of your monthly installments, whatever they've come to the agreement with. So say you're going to pay 9,000 Rand a month towards your debt. The first 2 months will actually go to the debt counsellor, not to your credit providers. Will go to the debt counsellor to cover all of these costs. After that, there is a monthly aftercare fee of 5% of your repayment.
Right.
So you can understand that, you know, if you enter debt review, and by the 3rd month you decide this is not for you, you've already effectively paid all of those fees up front.
Yeah. Maya, are we on the point of some kind of meaningful reform around this kind of stuff? I mean, I don't know to what extent we haven't yet had the National Credit Regulator on. We're in a conversation with them about the timing of a conversation on air with them, and I'm sure we'll get it eventually. But, you know, You mentioned that this stuff has been knocking around for a long time. Wendy Nola has come on with similar things. My colleague Relebogile was telling me a little bit earlier. Are there movements afoot to tighten this up, deal with the abuse, and try and make this work as well as you clearly indicate it can?
Yeah, you know, it is an incredible frustration. I've been writing about this, I think, for 3 years now, 4 years now.
Okay.
And I've been raising all of these issues. I think there are okay, let me, I don't want to get into political issues here, but there has been a change of guard. And I think we could start to see some improvements coming out of the National Credit Regulator in this regard. But probably the most important thing that needs to happen is we need to change the National Credit Act. And that, of course, requires the Minister for the Trade and Industry. That is where the National Credit Act sits. And right now, the National Credit Act allows people to be put under debt review with absolutely no safeguards. You won't believe this, but there is no cooling off period. So
Yes.
from the time that you get that phone call, and you may misunderstand what debt review is, you have nowhere do they explain to you that you're going to be locked in for 5 years, you won't be able to access credit, all of this. You're suddenly under debt review. There's no cooling off period, none. So you can't say, can I think about it for a day or
Yeah,
two? So those are,
that's
to me, are
extraordinary.
fundamentally anti-consumer issues, and those have to be changed in the National Credit Act itself. And I think we also need to see a review of the skills of debt counselors and how easy it is for debt counselors to get into the debt counseling system on the DHS platform. So I think for me, there are some things that really need to happen, but some of it does require the National Credit Act to be changed.
Thank you so much. And we'll pick it up again. As I say, this is going to be a conversation we keep coming back to on Afternoon Drive on 702. Thanks to Maya Fisher-French, award-winning financial journalist. You can follow her at News24. She edits Maya on Money. And if you want to just go to her website directly, it's the Maya on Money website. It's 25 minutes past 4.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
What were some of the main takeaways for you from COP30?
One of the takeaways for us, basically around the COP30, was that the conference managed to agree on certain things. Number one, the forest finance was actually basically one of the things that was agreed upon. Talks about the long-term reliable finance for the countries to protect their forests.
Thabo Sibeko is a programs manager at EarthLife Africa. Reflections on the COP30, which was held in Belém in Brazil, concluding on Saturday.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
South Africa is taking its place on the world stage at the B20 and G20 summits 2025. Telkom is proud to stand with the nation, building a digital future that reaches every community. Through reliable fiber, mobile and cloud networks, Telkom is connecting families, small businesses and young people to new opportunities. They're helping drive digital public infrastructure so services are easier to access for all. Telkom, the digital backbone of South Africa's future.
Ask yourself, what matters most?
I just want to be there when she takes her first steps.
And still be around for her first dance.
It's knowing I'm not just covered, I'm cared for.
It's having the strength to say I'm back.
It's just knowing Mom will be okay.
It's coming home.
Bonitas goes beyond benefits and claims. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. Voted #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index Awards for the second year running. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
Click season is different from any other ho. Oh? Yes, here's why. Mix and match any 3 festive gifts with a purple sticker.
Oh.
And get the lowest one free.
Oh.
With the famous Clicks Purple Sticker promotion. It's only at Clicks. Feel good, pay less. Deals valid until 24 December or while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Okay, a bold new marketing strategy. Placing customers' details on product reviews. You're doing the scammers' job for them.
Yeah, the testimonials look great. Customers seem happy.
Sure, and scammers too. With customers' details, they can open accounts, take loans, the works.
So instead of making customers happy, I made scammers happy?
Scams can happen to anyone. Stay alert, and if you're unsure, contact ABSA on 0860 557 557. Protect your money. Protect your story. ABSA, your story matters. An authorized financial services provider.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Small gains when last I looked. How are we looking at almost 4:30?
A little better, John. Quite a strong day for gold and platinum shares. Gold and platinum slightly higher again today. The all share up 0.47% at 110,529 points. Financials down 0.13%. Industrials down 0.4%. And then resources up 2.19%. A little bit of corporate action today. Another day, another bank, John. Pepkor, the latest got permission from the Prudential Authority to go ahead and start a bank. It'll use its big store network now to do it. You want to know how big their store network is? They sold 13.5 million cell phones in the last financial year. That's 80% of all prepaid cell phones in South Africa. The sort of grip they have on that market is huge. Of course, you don't need a network anymore, a physical network, to start a bank. Their headline earnings per share were up by over 23%. That said, their share down by about 1.7% on the day, and I think maybe investors not particularly keen on the idea of another bank. Let's just see. Some movement in the car rental space. Zeda, they own Avis Budget, saying they profit up nearly 4%, but they were able to increase their fleet utilization. More people were using their cars more often. Mr. Price is down over 3.5%. It's been a bit of a tough time for some of the clothing retailers. And then Woolies is also down 1.83%. Discovery is down 1.64%. And Advitech is down nearly 2% on the day. Sasol down 3% as well. Gold miners up. Goldfields Harmony up by around 3%. Goldfields up nearly 4%. Anglo Gold up 3%. Anglo finally seeing the back of that possible forced merger with BHP. That's gone. They're up 3.17%. They'll obviously go ahead and merge now with Tech. And Old Mutual's up 2.11% on the day. In the US, futures markets looking not terrible, actually. There was a tech-fueled rally yesterday. Index futures are looking a little lower than perhaps they were yesterday. Still waiting for more economic data. Also, Alphabet, they're up in pre-market trading. Reports suggesting that, in fact, Facebook or Meta wants to use Google's AI chips in its data centers. The gold price, $4,140.55. Platinum, $1,553.82. Brent crude, $60.06 a barrel. And the rand to the dollar, 17.23 to the euro, 19.91 to the British pound, 22.67. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Time for the news now with Mbali Dlamini. One of the big news items of this week was meant to be the appearance of alleged criminal kingpin Vusimbuzi Kat Matlala before the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. Now it seems we've got some problems, Mbali. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. That is correct. Alleged criminal kingpin Vusimbuzi Kat Matlala wants a postponement of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption. Matlala's lawyers have written to the committee seeking the postponement, citing poor prison conditions. They say Matlala has not had enough time to prepare for his appearance, also raising concerns over his health and mental capacity. The committee moved its proceedings to the Kgosi Mampuru prison in Pretoria from today, ahead of Matlala's scheduled appearance tomorrow. Matlala has been named by several witnesses as allegedly having an influence on major policing matters. Deputy President Paul Mashatile says he believes public-private partnerships to assist with water projects are having the desired effect. Mashatile says these partnerships are necessary to assist with the technical skills that government does not have. Answering questions in the National Council of Provinces today, Mashatile said government is taking systemic steps through its water task team to deal with the widespread problems that are hindering the provision of water to many communities.
Through the Water Task Team, we are tackling water security challenges by improving infrastructure, reforming institutions, and expediting project management in a coordinated approach.
But the DA's Paul Swart has slammed government for not doing more to tackle action against municipal officials who are colluding with companies which provide water tankers. Mashatile says because of the vandalism of infrastructure, municipalities are left with little choice but to seek alternative ways to provide water.
Government is aware of and is responding to corruption and criminality associated with water tanker operations. In this regard, National Treasury has issued a circular cautioning municipalities against long-term reliance on water tankers.
And tributes are pouring in following news of the passing of former JMPD head David Tembe. Tembe was found dead in his home in Bramley yesterday. It's understood he had complained about not feeling well to colleagues on Friday and was working from home. The cause of his death is yet to be determined. Oren Singh has more.
EWN understands that David Tembe died on Friday as he was in the same clothing when discovered yesterday. According to well-placed sources, Tembe's domestic worker left his home on Friday afternoon with Tembe locking up after she left. He was found with his house keys in his hand and still wearing a robe he had been wearing on Friday. When arriving at his home yesterday, his helper could not gain access and alerted authorities. Emergency services managed to enter the home where they found Tembe unresponsive. He was taken to a state mortuary and his family was only notified this morning. Tembe was appointed JMPD chief in 2017 and later served as MMC for Public Safety from 2021 to 2023. Most recently, he worked as strategic advisor to the current MMC for Public Safety, Mngini Chwaku. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Lows of between 10 and 16 degrees and highs of between 25 and 27.
Traffic is heavily backed up in the Benoni-Boksburg area on Atlas Road approaching North Rand Road. While if you're leaving Midrand heading towards Centurion, expect about a 30-minute delay on the N1 northbound between the Batlu interchange and Brakfontein interchange. And in Blue Hills, accident scene causing some delays approaching the intersection of the R55 and Summit Road.
The top story in EWN, alleged criminal kingpin Vusumuzi Madlala wants a postponement of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Can you please highlight countries that you think are really on the up and up when it comes to luxury travel?
So I think if you look at southern Africa, I'm still of the view that Johannesburg is a very low-hanging fruit, right? There is a need to do something different in Johannesburg. This is the economic powerhouse. It's one of the reasons why we opened a Park Hyatt in the heart of Johannesburg, because at the end of the day, you've got to make luxury work in places which aren't straightforward. For me, Johannesburg provides a great canvas and opportunity set.
Hamza Farouki, who is founder and CEO of Militant Global.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk. When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Stay on the growth track and earn up to 7.87% interest at maturity with a 12-month electronic fixed deposit account. Lock in for maximum growth and enjoy guaranteed returns without monthly fees. Hashtag Get Money Fit with Netbank. Visit netbank.co.za. See money differently. Netbank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Do you suffer from heartburn and hyperacidity? To relieve heartburn for the whole day and night with one tablet, a potent once-a-day treatment which was previously prescription only is now available over the counter. Ask your pharmacist for an over-the-counter, long-lasting heartburn treatment. Brought to you by Sandoz.
EWN Sport.
Okay, let's get the very latest from the world of sport. Tolakele Mganga, we've got cricket, we've got Champions League football, and the Springboks have one more game in 2025. Over to you.
Thanks so much, John. And South Africa on the brink of a first Test series win in India for 25 years. That's after the hosts reached stumps on day 4 of the second Test on 27 for the loss of 2 in pursuit of 549. India must bat throughout the final day to avoid a whitewash. That's after the Proteas won the opener by 30 runs. It's been all-round contributions from Shukri Conrad's team with bat and ball, as Tristan Stubbs top scored with 94, shared in a century partnership with Tony Dezorzi, and then added a further 82 alongside Vian Mulder.
Obviously, winning a toss helps, but yeah, I think our prep has been really good. That second win, or the first win in the second Test in Pakistan, gave us a huge amount of confidence coming here, and we felt that if we could post good first innings runs, we could really put India under pressure.
Chelsea host Barcelona and the pick of tonight's UEFA Champions League games. Is a significant week for Enzo Maresca's Blues, who also take on Premier League leaders Arsenal on Sunday.
It's always a big week. They are all important games. They are, at the end, every game is 3 points. For sure, there are games like Barcelona tomorrow and Arsenal Sunday that they are important for different reasons. But I think the best thing for us is to go game by game.
The Springboks have one last assignment in Europe before the conclusion of their season as they take on Wales on Saturday. Both teams have been forced into making changes with the fixture falling outside the test window, but Bok assistant coach Dan Human doesn't expect any less intensity from the Dragons.
They got some quality players there, especially their front row, starting front row. I mean, in their captain, they got really a very, very competitive player, and I think he's very vital for them as well. So they got good players with a lot of experience as well. I think a guy like Talafau might be in the mix. Is that how you pronounce his surname? I'm not sure. But anyway, so now, yeah, they've got some quality players in their team.
And Nick Kyrgios has signalled his intention to play at next year's Australian Open by signing up for the Kooyong Classic warm-up exhibition event. The Australian has been ravaged by career-threatening injuries over the last couple of years and played only 5 singles matches in 2025. Kyrgios will need wildcards to play any of the ATP warm-up tournaments ahead of the Open, as well as the Grand Slam tournament itself. Tola Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
20 minutes now to 5 o'clock. EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Blue Hills is a problem spot. Some delays in that area. Karabo Chali with the details of that. Good afternoon.
Sure, John. Afternoon. While we have an accident scene there in the Blue Hills area, this is causing heavy delays approaching the intersection of the R55 and Summit Road. If you're leaving Midrand heading towards a Centurion, also expect about a 30-minute delay. N1 northbound between the Batlu interchange and the Brakfontein interchange. Driving through the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic. M1 south between Killarney Bains and the Crown interchange, while in Protea Glen traffic remains sluggish on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. In the Alex Calvin area, roadworks causing heavy delays. This is heading towards Germiston N3 southbound from the Batlu interchange all the way to London Road, and in Benoni Boksburg traffic heavily backed up on Atlas Road approaching North Rand Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a couple stealing glances at each other. In a week, their lives will change forever as they exchange their I-do's. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 18 minutes to 5. From time to time, we talk about clothing and what we wear when we go to work. I mentioned it the other day in regard to the fact that you can actually watch us do the show on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Afternoon Drive, John Perlman Live. That'll almost certainly get you the pictures you want, and it'll be nice to have you there. You can follow and just see what the studio looks like, see what we all look like. Now, in terms of what you wear to work, are there occasions where you substantially depart from the way you normally dress, either in a much more casual way or perhaps more interestingly, where you decide, I've actually got to look quite smart today? Does that ever come up in your working life, and if so, when? I'll go first and just say, sometimes I know there's a particular guest in studio and a slightly more formal look might be required. I know that you're probably thinking, well, that's been a while. Hasn't happened anytime recently. But that's the kind of thing I think about. Maybe if you're going in for a performance review, you dress differently. The other reason you might dress differently, by the way, is just to give yourself a little bit of a boost and say, okay, I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm going to wear that thing that really makes me feel a whole lot better about myself, or reminds me of somebody who had a lot of faith in me at a time when I really needed. Natasha says, my style is always formal and a bit casual. Tolakele, outfit changes? I've not been able to say I've monitored closely what you wear, but some days are you more formal than others, and if so, why?
I've rebranded because I've decided not to wait until January to start my New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
Just doing it in November. I'm doing corporate Tolagele 2026, but in 2025.
Okay.
And she dresses like she works like for a proper company, not for a radio station where you can wear sneakers and baggy tops all of the time. So I'm dressing like a serious person. It takes a lot of dedication. Nogukanya Mdambo's the one who's probably my biggest cheerleader because she generally dresses
She
up
does,
for work.
indeed, yes.
So every time I'm like to her, oh my goodness, this thing is so stressful. She's like, finally, someone who understands my problems.
Yes.
So I've just decided because I kind of want to put in the work rather than waiting for the weekend, because you know how you always like, I'm going to save my outfit for like a social event on the weekend. Going to work is a social event and I should dress up for the occasion.
So in all seriousness, though, I mean, let's start with the shoes. I'm not going to go through every single detail, but I mean, you walk around a lot because you're here, you up and down, you collecting stuff from the printer or whatever it might be. You've got to make your way over to 947. You've got that. Are you at least saying, okay, I've got to have comfortable shoes, or?
I can't wear my stiletto heels. I have to wear my block heels because those are easier to walk around in. So it's that thing I'm very cautious about. I only allow myself Fridays to wear a flat because I'm just like casual Fridays. But I have to be a little bit off the ground, even if it's a kitten heel, as long as it's a heel.
And just finally, I mean, as you set off for work, okay, so you've got the outfit down and you're happy with what you've chosen, you're in the car and you're heading for work. Serious question, do you feel any different?
Oh, I feel so amazing, John. I'm just like, every time I walk like past the mirror and I do like one final glance, I always like to myself, today you're going to have a boss day. Because I'm looking the part and I feel the part. And more importantly, my mom affirms me every day because she's waited her whole life to see me dress like a lady. So every day when I send her the pictures from work, she's like, oh, I'm so happy.
Okay, so you give her an update, a daily update.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Well, I'm very glad I asked. Karabo Charlie?
Well, I really don't fuss. I grab whatever I see first in the closet. Otherwise, if I wear formal, it's when maybe it's like a rainy week and I didn't do my laundry, and then I'll grab the formal shirt and I'll dress up all formal. And yeah, you feel important. You even get a lot of compliments. Even the walk changes. I walk like a management.
And the funny thing about working in broadcasting, when you dress formally, everybody goes, how was the interview? No one ever dresses up.
Okay, Karabo, come formal tomorrow.
Okay, I'll try. Now I have to go iron that shirt. And
I'm not trying to catch you out, but there's been a lot of rain lately. You got to be very low on T-shirts.
I'll surprise you.
All right, let's see. And I'm sure you'll impress me as well. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. If you change your style at work, is there a story behind it? And if you changed it for a purpose, did it actually work? Give us a ring and tell us about that. 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's coming up now for 13 minutes to 5.
John is on X
at John Perlman.
Right, let's focus our attention now on the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. To some extent, not as much focus on that today because of the extraordinary situation of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee having their hearings in the Kgosi Mampuru prison. And we'll get more on that, hopefully an update from Babalo Ndenze on what the Commission's response has been to the request from Vusimuzi Katmatlala's lawyers for some kind of postponement. They say he has not been able to prepare as he would wish. But the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry focusing on the arrest of Katiso Katie Mulife, and the question has been asked around the fact that the Hawks turned up while the PKTT were trying to do their work. Oren Singh, our EWN colleague, he's been listening very, very closely and joins us now. Oren, I think just to set the scene for people who may be a little bit confused and wondering, well, there was Matlala's arrest and there was Mulife's arrest and there are different commissions and we're not sure who's told who what. In brief summary, if you can, what was the eye-raising issue around the PKTT's attempt to do their duty at Mr. Mulife's house?
I think the main thing, John, was confusion around who was doing the raid. And we're yet to hear from who contacted the then head of the Hawks, Godfrey Labia, to say that there are possible Hawks officers or people impersonating Hawks officers at the home of Katiso Molefe. We know that Godfrey Labia, having left the Hawks, has been quite vocal in the media talking about this. And I think to some extent he suggested that he received a call at some stage that there were Hawks officers or people impersonating Hawks officers at Molefe's Sandhurst home. And so Godfrey Labia essentially instructs about 3 different teams from the Hawks to go through and verify whether this is the case and to try and determine who's conducting this operation. So three teams from the Hawks arrive at this home and they find out it is a legitimate police operation, and it's in fact members of the PKTT doing the arrest and search and seizure.
Okay, so that's the issue that's under discussion. What did we hear today and who did we hear it from?
We heard from 3 Hawks officers today attached to the serious organized crime unit within the Hawks in Gauteng, as well as the head of the Hawks in Gauteng, Major General Ibrahim Kadwa. And basically all 3 of them singing the same tune, saying that they were instructed to go through to Molefe's home to establish whether this was a legitimate police operation. And the 2 Hawks officers who testified initially this morning said they were there for less than 10 minutes.
Right.
Basically, they established that this was a legitimate police operation. They informed their superior and done and dusted. We saw General Kadwa come in and kind of echo the same sentiments that he was contacted by General Godfrey Labia to try and figure out what's going on at this premises. I'm getting calls. And so Kadwa sends his teams out there who then establish a legit operation, send him incident reports before leaving 10, 15 minutes later.
So my understanding of earlier witnesses, and you'll need to remind me of their names, was that it seemed like they were there for longer.
So this is the confusion, John. There were 3 separate teams. So Kadwa's team is basically the serious organized crime unit or division within the Hawks in Gauteng. He mobilizes that team and sends them. Then there's a separate unit within the Hawks called the TOMS unit. They're notified and deployed to go and investigate, as well as another unit within the Hawks are also notified and sent to go and investigate. And each unit does their own thing when they get there. So, to some extent, we heard that the TOMS unit were requesting to see the J50 and the J51. That's the arrest warrant and the search and seizure warrant. And the officers on scene who were conducting the operation didn't want to actually divulge that information because it contains sensitive information related to the case itself. So in some regard, there have been allegations that the Hawks were interfering. But in other aspects, for example, with General Kadwa and his team, they claimed they didn't interfere. They got there, they saw other members of the Hawks from the TOMS unit and other divisions on scene. They established what they needed to, and they left. But I think it's quite crucial to point out that before we even heard the testimony of these 3 senior Hawks officers this morning, Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga himself wanted to know, why are we actually speaking or hearing testimony from these Hawks officials, and why haven't we heard from the former head of the Hawks, Godfrey Labia, as of yet? And he put it to the evidence leader that, do you think it's relevant for us to hear the testimony of these officials? We've already heard so much about interference related to that specific raid and arrest. We need to hear from Godfrey Labia. And they said, or the evidence leader suggested, that it was crucial that they had to hear this evidence. I'm of the contrary, John. I think by now it was a bit of wasting of time. I think we can hear from Godfrey Labia now and put this sort of issue to bed. Who instructed Godfrey Labia or called him to notify him about this raid, and why did he send so many units to go and figure out what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be a critical question. I would assume from what we've seen of this hearing, Oren Singh, it's going to be very, very hard for him to say, well, I'm not going to tell you. I mean, I can't imagine what grounds there would be.
Surely he can't, John, because at the end of the day, the allegations are there, and the allegations have been proven that there were these several units from the Hawks that came through during the search and seizure operation, questioning and querying what is going on. Godfrey Labia's name has come up on several occasions related to the deployment of these units. Every senior officer that has come before the commission claimed that they received instruction from their superior, who in turn claims they received an instruction from Godfrey Labia. So I don't think there's any way he can get out of it, or simply not answer the commission when they put it to him at some stage that who actually called you to notify you about this operation, what were they querying, and why did you deploy so many teams to go and figure out what was going on?
Thank you so much, Oren Singh, EWN report on 702 Drive. It's 6 minutes to 5.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Well, let's go to that other commission probing the allegations made back in July by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. It's the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee today convening in the Kgosi Mampuru prison in Tshwane. And the story, you may have heard us chatting to Babalo Ndenze a little bit earlier, but the story that was really front and center was Vusimuzi Matlala, who's currently incarcerated at that prison and is the reason why the committee is meeting in such an unusual place. His lawyers have said he is not as yet prepared for his testimony. And when we last spoke, Babalo Ndenze, good afternoon to you again. This was still going to be discussed by the committee. I don't know if there's any progress on that. By the way, when I say not prepared, I should rather use the word not ready, has not had sufficient preparation time, not suggesting that he's not prepared as in unwilling. Babalo, what's the latest?
Yes, indeed, John. They've just now taken a break after getting some additional information and testimony from Puleng Timpano, who's the CFO of the police. But on this issue of Matlala, his lawyers have, written to the committee chairperson. You may have seen also on social media, some members of the committee, Darlene James of Action SA, saying that, Matlala has written to the committee, says he's not prepared, and they're accusing him of playing, Stalin or using Stalingrad tactics. But Matlala's lawyer's letter, just to give you an idea of what he's saying, they are saying that they want to draw your attention to the fact that Mr. Matlala has become an absolute nightmare for Mr. Matlala in prison. They're saying that Mr. Matlala's detention at the CMAX prison has negatively affected his health and his mental capacity. They also, focus on the other main issue that you've also just touched on his preparedness for the hearing. They want further consultation with their client, Matlala, so that they can be able to, fine-tune his evidence before he sits before the committee, either tomorrow and Thursday or maybe Friday at the latest. They might also use Friday. But now Matlala is saying he's not ready, and his lawyers are also saying that if the committee has not responded by 3 p.m. today, they will proceed with an urgent application to have the evidence of their client and tomorrow's proceedings postponed until such a time that they've properly consulted with their client. So it looks like there's a threat for an urgent intellect in court tomorrow. But this will all depend on what the committee decides, if they want to give him that extra time or extra leeway to, get further consultations with his lawyers. But it doesn't look like members of the committee have that appetite to give him more time. He's known about his appearance for quite some time. He's himself written to the committee before this lawyer's letter, John. Just for information that he's he's been calling for his day to give his side of the story, and not just him, also the likes of Brown Mahotsi and all these people implicated. So he was, willing to come to the committee before this letter by his lawyers. Now his lawyers are also based here in Pretoria, Abrams Madira Incorporated Attorneys. So now the committee, I'm suspecting after this short break, maybe just after 5, it's a 15-minute break, they might now get into the details of this letter, and then the members will be able to, add their voices or object to the letter and object to the calls for a postponement. So that's where we are at the moment. But Matlala definitely unwilling, to testify this week. I'm not sure how much time he wants for preparation. They don't give an indication in their lawyer's letter how much time Matlala needs to consult with his attorneys. But it looks like Matlala is unwilling to give evidence this week. He might even, depending on what his court papers say, he might be even unwilling. Maybe this is a suspicion now, John, that he might be unwilling to give evidence at all until his trial is concluded, because he's facing a litany of charges, attempted murder, and also other issues. So I think there might be, a fear now in the last minute from his legal team that he might, further implicate himself and complicate his legal issues by testifying before the committee, because the committee will be asking him lots of questions about issues that have been discussed. His tender that was cancelled in December last year, and issues around corruption and interference with the PKTT specifically, and all these monies that he allegedly gave to not just Minister Senzo Mtunu's political career or his political campaign to become president of the ANC, also monies that he allegedly gave to Senzo Mkwanazi as well,
right,
according to Brown Mahot's evidence last week, but he doesn't specify the amount of money. But Fanima Samola is also said to have received millions from Kat Matlala. I think the figure is 5 million, as well as Senzo Mtunu. Also, I think that figure stands at 2 million.
Thanks so much. Babalo Ndenze, he will be out at the Kgosi Mampuru prison throughout the week, and we'll be hearing from him in the future, I'm sure.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
One body has been recovered from a river in KwaZulu-Natal as a search for 2 more missing people continues. The victims were washed away yesterday during floods in New Hanover in the Midlands.
The teams are working to recover one body, that of a female, that is entrapped in the river. The MEC for Kokta, Reverend Lasisi Buthelezi, has assured residents that disaster management teams will work right throughout the clock to ensure that those that are missing are recovered.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Unbox up to 70% off with At Home this Black Friday. New deals and more styles have just been added. Get 25% off all bedding and inners, including Granny Goose. Plus, elevate your kitchen with up to 20% off all kitchenware, including 2,000 Rand off Sage appliances. Shop these exclusive deals in-store or online, now on Bash for a limited time while stocks last. TFG Rewards members only. T's and C's apply. At Home, imagine more.
Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile will present Gauteng's 2025 medium-term budget policy statement to the legislature on Tuesday, 2nd December 2025 at 10 a.m. MEC Maile will use the mini-budget to outline the province's economic priorities, fiscal direction, and plans to drive inclusive growth and sustainable development over the medium term. Join the conversation about public finances on Facebook and X using hashtag Gauteng MTBPS 2025. This message is brought to you by the Gauteng Provincial Government.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
This is EWN.
Vusimuzi Kat Matlala wants MPs to postpone his ad hoc testimony, and South Africa hands over the G20 presidency to the USA. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Alleged criminal kingpin Vusimuzi Kat Matlala wants a postponement of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption. Matlala's lawyers have written to the committee seeking the postponement, citing poor prison conditions. They say Matlala has not had enough time to prepare for his appearance, also raising concerns over his health and mental capacity. The committee moved its proceedings to the Kgosi Mampuru prison today ahead of Matlala's scheduled appearance tomorrow. Madlanga has been named by several witnesses as allegedly having an influence on major policing matters. Let's stay with that committee. Police Chief Financial Officer Buleng Dimpane says she supported the recommendation to make the Political Killings Task Team a permanent structure due to ongoing political violence. Dimpane has been giving evidence before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption. She's been answering questions around expenditure patterns of the PKTT. Dimpane says she raised concerns about the task team and how it had been in existence for about 5 years, incurring spending of more than 430 million rand from 2018 to September this year. Babalondenze reports.
Buleng Dimpane has told the committee that she is mainly responsible for expenditure planning and budgeting for the department, reporting to the National Commissioner. She says while the PKTT incurred tens of millions of rands every year since its establishment in 2018, there was nothing strange about its spending.
And they do work hard, they do claim overtime in this particular regard. So it's not anything that is strange.
But Dimpane says she was concerned about its lengthy existence.
Now I raised these concerns to say the National Commissioner, this team has been in existence for a long time, and I think I have raised this earlier. It's practically impossible for me from a budget point of view to operate in this fashion. It will be best to urgently conduct a work study investigation for the establishment of a permanent structure. And I'm talking to the permanent structure that relates to PKTT in KwaZulu-Natal.
Dimpane says the PKTT has been around for about 5 years and is clearly dealing with a serious problem that refuses to go away. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Facility in Pretoria.
We shift our focus to this now. Despite earlier tensions, South Africa has officially handed over the G20 presidency to the same lower-ranking officials it refused to accommodate at the weekend. The two countries were at loggerheads this past weekend over the official handover, with South Africa refusing to give over reins to what they described as a junior diplomat. The International Relations Department says the handover took place this morning in Pretoria between diplomats of similar ranking. Thabiso Koba has more.
The White House initially announced it will be boycotting the G20 summit in South Africa, saying it will not be sending any of its representatives. However, during the event, it changed its tune and sent a junior delegation led by its chargé d'affaires to receive the G20 presidency. A chargé d'affaires is a representative who heads a country's embassy mission in the absence of an ambassador. At the time, presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya posted on social media that President Cyril Ramaphosa would not hand over to a chargé d'affaires.
This is a breach of protocol, what they were suggesting. You cannot have a head of state handing over the presidency and the leadership of such an important premier forum for macroeconomic issues and other related issues being handed over to a junior embassy official.
The International Relations Department says the G20 presidency was exchanged between the two countries' diplomats successfully. Washington is currently without an ambassador to South Africa, with nominee Mike Bozell still awaiting Senate confirmation. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Latest data from the Judiciary has revealed that more accused persons in the country's courts are requesting psychiatric evaluations. Chief Justice Mandisa Maya delivered the annual Judiciary reports for the 2023, 2024 and 2025 financial years. Maya says South Africa's judiciary is under strain, contending with issues including failing infrastructure and not enough judges. Khomotso Modise has more.
The number of mental health applications and how quickly they are processed has been included in the latest judiciary reports as a measure of efficiency in the country's high courts. According to the report, over 6,600 applications for psychiatric evaluation were made by accused in the 2023-2024 financial year, and that number rose to over 7,900 in the following year. More than half of those applications were made in the High Court in Cape Town, and the court managed to finalize 98% of them during the year 2024-2025. However, no applications for psychiatric evaluation were made in Mpumalanga and Limpopo High Courts. Mental health evaluations are often requested by accused to determine their fitness to stand trial. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
And Iran has publicly executed a man in the northern province of Semnan after he was convicted of raping 2 women. The execution took place in the town of Bastam following the Supreme Court's approval of the verdict. Officials say the man deceived and forcefully raped the 2 women, using intimidation and threats to silence them. Public executions are rare in Iran, which typically carries out the death penalty inside prisons. The latest comes just 2 weeks after another public hanging. Gold is trading at $4,125.18 an ounce. The rand is at 17.27 to the dollar, 22.69 to the pound, 19.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.37 a barrel.
In Tembe, at this hour, you can expect about a 20-minute delay on the R21 northbound. This is between the R25 Papsfontein off-ramp and the Olifantsfontein Road off-ramp. In Bedfordview, accident scene. This is on the N3 northbound near Van Buren, slowing down traffic, and in Devland, bumper traffic due to roadworks on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue.
In your sport, India sets a victory target of 549 runs as the Proteas stand on the brink of a Test series win. Orlando Pirates have an opportunity to move joint top of the Betway Premiership standings tonight, and Barcelona respond to backlash after Jerome Boateng visit.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 10 degrees, peaking at 25. Pretoria 13 and 27, and Vereeniging 16 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: alleged criminal kingpin Vusimuzi Madlala wants a postponement of his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 10 minutes past 5. How's your Tuesday been? Are you starting to wind down with the end of the year in sight, or are you a little bit like me, kind of winding up because there's all sorts of stuff I need to get done? And some of it is personal, some of it is obviously radio related, some of it is to do with the NGO I've involved in running. But yeah, there's a lot to get done actually. I'm expecting the last 3 weeks of the year, of my work year in any case, to be really, really, really busy and quite intense. But are you managing to start getting a chill going? Maybe feel some beach sand between your toes already? I'm talking metaphorically, if not literally. Give me a call on that on 011 883 0702. Certainly busy, or meant to be, at the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. They've been looking into what appear to be substantial abuses at the Road Accident Fund, but they've got a particular problem to deal with. The former CEO of the RAF, Collins Letswalo, supposed to appear before the committee. They have, after all, summoned him to do so, but he didn't show up today, and today was some kind of deadline. So what does the deadline mean? What does the dishonoring of that deadline mean? We'll talk to Scopa Chair Songezo Zibi. That's coming up shortly. Stephen Curtis with all the market news, sports updates with Tolakele Mganga. The traffic's getting pretty busy, as it does around this time. So Karabo Chali will be there to give you the very latest on what to avoid and where you should go to avoid those delays if you possibly can. And sometimes, of course, you can't. And sometimes you are simply stuck. We'll have music for you at about 20 to 6. We asked you the question about when you do suddenly decide to dress really, really smartly at work. What's the reason? And maybe like Tolakele Mganga shared with us a little bit earlier, maybe it's something you've decided not just to do for a day, but to do for every day. This is what some of you had to say.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
How's it, folks? X here. Days that I dress as in depart from what I would normally do. Fridays, I am a bit dressed down, more relaxed. I'd have my jeans and probably a golfer's, still a bit formal, like your golf wear. And then on days when we have to go and give our sales numbers for the previous month to the board, then obviously it's suits. Thanks.
But John, I'm glad you asked about fees, because I'll tell you what happens. This friend of mine's total monthly payments were up to 7,000, and when he signed for debt review, they reduced his repayments to, I think it was 1,500, if I'm not mistaken. So around that 1,500 that they debited for over 3 years, when he requested statements close to 4 years later, his statements did not show any contribution from him or from this company that he signed for debt review with. So they have been debiting 1.5 for over 3 years from his account, but that money went nowhere. That money did not reach all the creditors, as well as no record on the statements that he was even paying a cent.
Very, very concerning contributions from all of you around the issue of debt review. As I said, it's something we did with Maya Fisher-French yesterday and again today. If you missed both of those interviews, very, very interesting and important stuff indeed. You can get those on our website, primemediaplus.com, and we'll be keeping at this story over the next couple of days. 14 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. SAA now operates 2 flights a day to Gaborone with morning and afternoon departures. Book now at flysaa.com. Of course, if you fly, you are close to the airport. But if you're close to the airport, you're close to Tembisa. And if you're close to Tembisa, you may have some problems. Karabo Chali has those details.
True that, John. If you're leaving OR Tambo International Airport heading towards Pretoria, expect about a 20-minute delay. That's in the Tembisa area. R21 northbound between the R25 Paffontein off-ramp and Olifantsfontein Road. In Bedfordview, also accident scene. N3 northbound near Van Buren, slowing down traffic. In Benoni, Boksburg, traffic also heavily backed up. That's on Atlas Road, approaching North Rand Road, while in Proteas Lane, traffic remains sluggish. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Driving through the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic on the M1 South between Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange, while in Blue Hills, expect about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Blue Hills, we're still dealing with that accident scene approaching the intersection of the R55 and Summit Road. This is causing heavy delays this afternoon. And finally, if you're leaving Midrand, heading towards Centurion, expect about a 30-minute delay. N1 North from the Batlu Interchange all the way to the Brakfontein Interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Experience Johannesburg to Gaborone with South African Airways, where comfort meets convenience. Enjoy premium service, flexible morning and afternoon departures, and the warm hospitality SAA is known for. For a limited time, return fares start from just 2,762 Rand, all inclusive. Book by 4 December at flysaa.com. South African Airways, bringing you closer. T's and C's apply.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
What were some of the main takeaways for you from COP30?
One of the takeaways for us, basically around the COP30, was that the conference managed to agree on certain things. Number one, the forest finance was actually basically one of the things that was agreed upon. It talks about the long-term reliable finance for the countries to protect their forests.
Thabo Sibeko is a programs manager at EarthLife Africa. Reflections on the COP30, which was held in Belém in Brazil, concluding on Saturday.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Don't miss out on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for 57 million Rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 51 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 6 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Itube is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2024 Kia Picanto, 52-year-old Janine now only pays 561 Rand a month. And for her 2025 Jetour Dashing, 29-year-old Sana pays just 796 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
One of the most important gatherings in SA's local government calendar is here. The 2025 Salga National Members Assembly. 25 to 27 November at the Durban ICC. Catch the Clement Manyatela Show live from the National Members Assembly this Wednesday as we take you inside the conversations shaping the future of our municipalities. Don't miss all the expert insights, high-level discussions, and the voices of leaders committed to delivering better services to communities across the country. That's the Clement Manyatela Show, live from the 2025 Salga National Members Assembly, this Wednesday on 702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. Well, let's report now on something that really is and should be of central concern to all of us, because we all contribute to the Road Accident Fund. It is, after all, funded as part of the amount of money we pay for each litre of fuel we put in the tank of the vehicle we own and use. So when the Standing Committee on Public Accounts began probing the doings of the Road Accident Fund and the many things it would seem going wrong there, I'm sure it was always part of their intention that the former CEO, Collins Letswalo, would eventually be called to respond to what was being said about him in the proceedings at the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, which I'm sure you know better as SCOPA. Well, today was the day, some kind of deadline by which Mr. Letswalo was meant to appear. Attempts had been made to serve him with a summons to make an appearance. He had given indication that he wouldn't come and gave, to some degree, reasons why he felt that was the correct decision. But let's catch up with where we stand right now at the end of proceedings today. Songezo Zibi is chair of SCOPA and joins us now. Mr. Zibi, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. Mr. Letswalo did not show up. Did he communicate with SCOPA in any way? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and thanks very much for having me. No, he did not show up today, but we eventually managed to get hold of his attorney through Parliament's legal representative, and as I'm speaking to you, we are expecting an answer from him in a minute about whether he will present himself today at all. Sorry, tomorrow at all, in which case then we'll have to take next steps. But his attorney has been responsive since the mid-morning, late morning today.
I would assume this is the same attorney that you would try to get hold of, because my understanding is you had difficulties actually delivering the summons, and I hope I'm using the correct term there. Did his attorney ever assist you in any way to deliver those summons? My understanding is that the process was laboured and difficult and presumably a substantial waste of the committee's time and resources.
So this firm of attorneys that Mr. Letswalo has retained is not the same that has acted for him before.
Okay.
So when the summons was delivered, it was delivered at the address that he would put in his letters when he was writing to the committee. But the House that is at that address is an abandoned home. Nobody lives there. It is, according to the sheriff, it does not appear that anybody has stayed there for a while. And the estate security also said that nobody has lived there for a while. The Road Accident Fund gave us another address at which the sheriff made several attempts to serve the summons. Eventually, they left them at the door or at the gate of that property so that whoever comes in and out can see the summons. He did respond to a text message from our committee legal advisor from Parliament and said that he's retained a firm of attorneys and we need to be corresponding with them, and that Parliament should stop this nonsense of saying that he's not available, we cannot find him. Basically, he said that on Friday. So those are the attempts that we've made among many, many others.
So, Mr. CB, what is the legal framework of all of this? I would have thought in the summons process, if you don't get a summons, you could always offer arguments in mitigation. But is it not a legal offense to deliberately send people to an abandoned house?
We will have to take advice on that because, 702 listeners will remember this in the case of Ms. Quinana at the Zondo Commission, who had also listed an address. The property belonged to her, but she hadn't stayed there for a long time. And the commission took issue with that, Judge Zondo did. It's potentially misleading to the committee to put an address where you don't stay because you're supposed to put your what is called domicilium et citandi, which is your main residence where your legal notices may be delivered. So we will look at that to see if there is an offense that was committed at all.
Are you legally obliged to honor a summons from Parliament? And if you are the sanctions potentially something that would go to a criminal court, or are there other processes?
Parliament is like a court.
Yes.
So the Powers and Privileges Court says Parliament can subpoena any person. You don't even have to work for the government.
Yes.
It would get complicated in the case of a journalist like yourself, but generally,
yes.
Anybody, whether they work for a company or whether it does a business with the state or not, or a private individual may be asked by Parliament to appear. Parliament doesn't use the power of a summons easily. So we have to show to the Speaker that we've exhausted every other option to get the person to come voluntarily before the Speaker then accedes to a summons. So you have to then appreciate that we've tried everything with Mr. Letsola before the Speaker finally agreed to a summons. And we've also tried on numerous occasions, including service at 2 physical addresses, leaving the summons there, putting it on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, everywhere you can think of, including serving it on him on WhatsApp and on text message and email. And we have not been successful.
Thank you very much. We will follow the process of this with close interest. Songezo Zibi chairs Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts. It's 26 minutes past 5.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What is the status of the Hawks investigation into this matter?
What we can confirm as the Hawks at this stage is that, yes, we've received 2 dockets so far, the one that is registered by Mrs. Zuma Ngube and the other one that was now filed by Duduzile Zuma.
So you mentioned a document from Zuma Sambudla.
No, a docket. She also opened a docket. She opened a case of fraud against an individual that is alleged to be maybe one of the masterminds in these issues.
Brigadier Nomtandazo Mbambo.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Get ready, South Africa. Mzansi Ballet proudly presents Sean Bovim's Private Presley, the Ballet. It's a spectacular reimagining of the life and legend of Elvis Presley. From his military days to his greatest loves, experience the king of rock and roll story told through breathtaking dance. Starring international ballet sensation Jorge Wade from Mexico as Elvis and South Africa's own prima ballerina Angela Revy as Priscilla. Beautiful singers Logan James and Patience Mahema bring some of his unforgettable songs to life. So don't miss this wonderful tribute on stage at the Peter Turin Theatre, Monte Cassino. It's on from 24 October to 30 November. Book now at Web Tickets.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Do you suffer from heartburn and hyperacidity? To relieve heartburn for the whole day and night with one tablet, a potent once-a-day treatment which was previously prescription only is now available over the counter. Ask your pharmacist for an over-the-counter, long-lasting heartburn treatment. Brought to you by Sandoz.
EWN Business.
Right, let's find out what's been happening on the JSE, what's happening in other markets around the world, and of course, let's look ahead to what's going to be on the Money Show tonight with the man who hosts it. Stephen, good afternoon.
John, good afternoon. The JSE all share up 0.25%, 110,295 points. Financials up 0.14. Industrials down 0.48, but resources pushing things up a little bit. They're up 1.23%. Gold slightly higher, taking platinum along with a tough day for Mr. Price, down 3.44%. Now, they weren't the only retailer down. Lots going on, of course, in the clothing industry at the moment. Sasol's down 3.23%. Naspers, after those results yesterday, they're down 2%, and Investec down 1.7%. And in fact, Valterra, the platinum miner, down 1.79%. Pepkor confirming it's got permission from the Prudential Authority to start another bank. Its headline earnings per share were up by over 23%. Sold 13.5 million phones. There's so much going on in the prepaid phone industry at the moment. Look at the strong competition we're seeing from Telkom to NTN and Vodacom, and then you start to see those numbers of how many handsets are actually moving through South Africa. Zeda, who own Avis Budgets, their profit was up nearly 4%. They had more people using their cars more often. They're battling a little bit in one level, though, John, because they obviously take the cars they've used, then they sell them afterwards. They're not getting the same value for them because, wait for it, cheaper Chinese imports are coming in and basically pushing those prices down. Harmony is up 3.23%. Anglo up nearly 3%. It seems BHP's now finally gone away, and Mondi's up 2.91. Goldfields up 2.78 as well. Old Mutual's up 2.5%, and MTN, tough week. Well, not really tough actually. They're up 2% on the day so far. In the US, sort of a mixed picture really emerging. The Dow Jones is up 0.35%. The Nasdaq is down 0.56%. There was a bit of a tech rally yesterday. The gold price $4,131.27. Platinum $1,553.05. Brent crude $61.80. The rand to the dollar 17.24. To the euro 19.96. To the British pound 22.73. On the Money Show tonight, we'll speak to Zeda about their results and what's happening in the rental car market. I know some people in Cape Town are suggesting actually you can't get a rental car at certain times for love or money. Maybe the issue is how much money. We will also, of course, be talking about SARS. They've reopened their large business forum. A lot going on in SARS. We'll speak to the head of the forum. Also, a lot going on with SA tourism, and confirmation now the SIU is going to be investigating what happened there. I don't know what they'll find, but that story around Patricia de Lille, the removal of the board, I don't think that's going anywhere soon. And we'll also look, where do you invest when there's lots of good news around? Warren Ingram, live and in person in our studio tonight. Stephen Grotus, EWN Business.
Lots to look forward to between 6 and 8. It's 29 minutes now to 6 o'clock, and Mbali Dlamini is ready with the very latest news.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Deputy President Paul Mashatile says the fight against gang violence must be intelligence-driven. He says communities also have a major role to play in helping to fish out those causing a reign of terror in their neighbourhoods. Today, MPs once again questioned government about its approach to stem the violence, particularly in the Western Cape. Answering questions in the National Council of Provinces, Mashatile said government recognises the trauma that gang violence is causing in many communities. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
Deputy President Paul Mashatile says government is addressing the systemic weaknesses in policing and the justice cluster that are hindering the arrest of those responsible for gang violence. He says the SAPS has already begun implementing its latest anti-gang strategy in the Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, the Eastern Cape and Gauteng.
Government is investing in an integrated, intelligence-driven approach. This strategy will ensure that gangs and criminal networks are investigated, neutralized and dismantled.
But the DA's Nicholas Gotzel claimed the SAPS is shunning investigative and intelligence capacity from the City of Cape Town's Metro Police.
This means that your government is turning away real help while communities on the Cape Flats are slaughtered.
Mashatile has promised to look into the matter. He says while there are protocols that need to be followed, all help is needed to fight the gangsterism scourge. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Evidence of pinging, cell phone records and the testimony of an accused turned state witness were all used in court today to implicate alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak in the attempted murder of prominent attorney William Booth. The prosecution team is close to wrapping up its cross-examination of Modak related to an attempt on Booth's life 5 years ago. The incident forms part of the 122 charges that Modak and his 14 co-accused face in the Western Cape High Court. Carlo Peterson was there.
State Prosecutor Greg Vormerans today showed the court how attorney William Booth was pinged by co-accused Zane Killian. Killian swore under oath it was Modak who instructed him to track the whereabouts of Booth. Vormerans also used cell phone evidence to show how 3 of Modak's co-accused, including his bodyguard Ziad Pool, were in constant communication up until the attempt on Booth's life on the 9th of April 2020. A former accused turned state witness also testified he was the driver for the shooting, implicating Pool, Taufik Brown and Rihad Hassan for being involved.
And I'm going to argue that the reason there is this cooperation, this alignment of the behavior, is because they have the same boss, you.
Modak is due back in the witness box for his cross-examination to continue tomorrow. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
And the Gauteng government has assured the public it will maintain its service delivery momentum post the G20 summit. The provincial government held a media briefing in Johannesburg today where the world event was declared a success. Gauteng says there were no reported interruptions to water, electricity or sewage systems during this time. Thabiso Koba has more.
In the days leading up to the G20 summit, Gauteng municipalities ramped up their service delivery obligations, daily street cleaning, potholes being fixed and dead street lights being replaced. Law enforcement authorities were also out in their numbers doing patrols. This led to criticism in some quarters that this only happened because of the G20 summit. However, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi says that's not the case.
When we defeated load shedding just prior to elections, we're told that we defeated load shedding because there were elections. And now we're beyond elections, load shedding is still not there. But people didn't believe that. Even now, we are told that we are putting a lipstick on a pig purely because of G20. We want to commit that we are going to go beyond G20.
Lesufi says some of the operations, like increased police visibility, will require additional budget to sustain. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Lows of between 10 and 16 degrees and highs of between 25 and 27.
Pulls off. You can expect about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road. That's between Main Road and Stonehaven. While driving through Tembisa, heading towards Pretoria, there's also about a 20-minute delay on the R21 northbound between the R25 Paffontein off-ramp and Olifantsfontein Road. And finally, leaving the Pretoria CBD, expect some delays in Hermanstad on Eskiam Pahlele between Vomhagen and the R80.
A top story in EWN, Deputy President Paul Mashatile says the fight against gang violence must be intelligence-driven.
10 years ago, Aluma Capital set out with one goal, to help people like you build a legacy for tomorrow. Through personalized strategies and unwavering dedication, we've been instrumental in helping our clients achieve their financial dreams, whether it's securing retirement, growing wealth or planning for the unexpected. For a decade, we've been trusted to guide your financial journey with expertise and care. Visit illuma.co.za today. Illuma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bets and Aziz Shege. Be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Join the Times Square Lights Extravaganza this December. Experience our gardens outside the Sunbet Arena come alive with bright, sparkling festive lights. Take a stroll and discover mesmerizing photo opportunities at every turn. After that, grab a bite and drink in the Times Square festive atmosphere. Bring your friends and family and enjoy the Times Square Lights Extravaganza this December. Experience our gardens come alive with bright, sparkling festive lights.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. My whole life, John, is an occasion. My entire life is an occasion. So I look great every day. I go to work, even when I'm in my jeans on a Friday. I know I look spectacular. That's my thing. That's my signature.
Good afternoon, Uncle John. The request from Ket Matlala should not be accepted. I'm looking at the cost for these MPs to come all the way to meet with him, all the arrangement put in place just to meet with him. And during the last hour, he make a U-turn saying he cannot meet with them. They should not accept that because it's costing us a lot of money for these MPs to come here to meet with him. So he knew all this time that they are coming. Why wait during the last hour to send a letter to the ad hoc committee, Joint Pretoria?
Hi, today, John. In terms of dressing up, look, I'm one person. I'm a smart casual person. It's just that I've got my days where I'll pull up those formal clothes. One thing that I will never understand though from ladies is when they always ask where are you going whenever you are dressed formally. I just want ladies to say you look beautiful, that's all. So yeah, I've never worked for a company that requires me to wear formal.
Yeah, thanks for those. And I think the point about Mr. Matlala knowing well in advance when this thing was going to happen, because the issues being raised, and I haven't seen the letter, I should stress, in any kind of detail, but I think Oren Singh gave us a pretty good breakdown of the contents. But these issues of prison conditions not being suitable for him to prepare, those would have pertained quite a while ago. And the problems that they cause, if indeed those are shown to be valid, would have arisen quite some time ago. And I think it's a fair point that if you are going to raise these issues and suggest that there's a reason why you can't appear, there was ample time to do that before. But let's see what the committee hears. Let's see what the committee decides. 19 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kele, very good afternoon to you. We will be up nice and early to watch the cricket. I certainly will. I don't know, people are saying that we're in a good position, but 8 wickets in a day, it's quite an ask still.
Absolutely, John. And South Africa sent India a victory target of 549 in the second test and then reduced the host to 27 for 2 to stay on course for a 2-0 series sweep. The world champions declared their second innings on 260 for 5. That's after Tristan Stubbs was dismissed for 94. The Proteas kept on batting despite their lead going past 500 in the second session, and Shukri Conrad has discussed their thinking going to the final day.
This is the beauty of this team, is that we always find someone standing up, and Marco knew what the responsibility was on his shoulders. He knew that he had to lead this attack, where normally that would be KG's responsibility, and he'd play more of a supporting role. But and this is the wonderful thing, like I say, about this side. When someone needs to stand up, we're able to find that.
At the same time, India and Pakistan have been grouped together for next year's T20 World Cup and will play each other on February 15th. Pakistan will play all their matches in Sri Lanka as part of a compromise deal that allows both India and Pakistan to play at neutral venues in multinational tournaments. Over to the UEFA Champions League, where match day 5 gets underway tonight, and the pick of the tie sees Chelsea at home to Barcelona. Hansi Flick has praised the work that Enzo Maresca has done with the Blues.
It's one of the best teams also in the world. It's the evolution here in the club, the change in the club. It's very fantastic. There's a lot of young players, a fantastic coach who give them an identity to play football. It's very great to see. Every match I see, I really appreciate about that, what they are doing. And young team with exceptional players. And for us, it's a really good match, good game.
Keeping with the Catalans, they say they're fully committed to combating gender-based violence following a visit to the club by Jerome Boateng. Boateng was handed a suspended €200 fine and a warning by a Munich court last year. That's after he was found guilty of premeditated bodily harm against a former partner. His visit came days before the club held a minute's silence before Saturday's La Liga game that was in memory of women killed by male violence to mark the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And over to rugby, where the Springboks will conclude their 2025 season with the clash against Wales on Saturday. The fixture falls outside the test window, and assistant coach Don Human has discussed expectations ahead of it.
Yeah, we got certain goals in the beginning of the year that we have set to ourselves. We don't look further than the next game and the next game and the next game. I don't want to say unfortunately, but fortunately, well, there is only one game left, so we're looking really into that. And that'll be great. That'll be a great achievement if we can get that right. But I don't think we're thinking the whole time about the records or, unbeaten on tour. We just think about the next game.
Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
16 minutes to 6 on 702 Drive. EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. We've had problems in Midrand right at the start of the day. Tembesa's been tricky, and now Polshof a problem.
Yeah, you can expect about a 20-minute delay in the Polshof area. This is on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Bryanston heading towards Four Ways. Traffic pressure N1 South from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. In Blue Hills, there's slow-moving traffic approaching the intersection of the R55 and Summit Road due to an earlier accident. If you're leaving Midrand heading towards Centurion, traffic is congested N1 northbound between the Batlu interchange and the Brakfontein interchange. Driving through the Joburg CBD, traffic remains sluggish on the M1 South between Killarney Bains and the Crown interchange. Protea Glen, there's slow-moving traffic N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Tembisa heading towards Irene, you can still expect about a 20-minute delay. R21 northbound between the R25 Foxfontein off-ramp and Olifantsfontein Road. And finally in Edenville, traffic heavily backed up R24 westbound between Macro Store and the Gilulis interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance Pointsmen can't help you pick the perfect playlist, but they can help ease the traffic congestion so you can get out of the city for your weekend getaway. With the Outsurance Pointsmen on the roads for the past 20 years, we can all get where we need to be quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #PointsmenLove, licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So with the rest of the time that we have on the show, we would like to do what we always do at the end of 702 Drive, and that is talk about songs and talk about music. And today we've come up with a fairly simple theme. songs that have morning in the title, and there are a lot of them. By the way, that's morning, i.e. the beginning of a day, just to be absolutely clear. Lots and lots of songs with morning in the title. I know some of them. I don't know some of them at all, but a lot of them are very good, the ones I noticed. But Jonathan Fairbairn is up first with his selection. A song about morning. You would have Googled it as well. Loads and loads of tracks. But you've picked one. Tell us what you picked and why.
Yeah, there was one that came to mind straight off the bat, but I'm not going to mention that one because I'm sure one of our 702 family will pick that song.
Yes.
So let's go with a song by the Rascals, and it's called A Beautiful Morning.
And why did you pick it?
It has no special meaning at all.
Okay, it doesn't have to.
I basically went to Google songs about mornings.
Okay, so it's not one you particularly like, but it's
Well, it's a nice song.
Yeah.
It's definitely
you
a nice
wouldn't
song.
choose a song that isn't a nice song, but it doesn't have a special place for you.
No, there's no special connection to the song. But
Okay,
yeah.
all right, let's go with the Rascals. A Beautiful Morning.
It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh air. Oh, no sense in staying inside. If the weather's fine and you got the time, it's your chance to wake up and plan another brand new day. You couldn't keep me down. It just ain't no good if the sun shines and you're still inside.
Kabazela, going back to way before he was born. It's a song from 1968. The band is the Rascals. The song is called A Beautiful Morning, and you get the idea from the lyrics. Songs about morning. Give us a call on that on 072 702 1702. That's for your voice notes. And if you want to chat, give us a ring on 011 883 0702. This is 702 Drive in the afternoon. We thought today we would talk about the morning.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Have you contacted people outside of government structures to try and understand what's happening? Because they're colleagues of yours, like Tutuzile Zuma Sambula. Do you think you can seek clarity from her as a committee?
This is a very serious matter in as far as the law of South Africa is concerned. So we can't adopt some informal processes because we know each other. So it's not going to work that way unless herself she volunteers clarity. We will stick to the institutional arrangements to deal with this matter, not on the basis of you knowing me and vice versa.
Okay.
We're expecting her in the meeting tomorrow.
Great. Maybe she can also answer some questions as well.
We hope so.
Supra Mahomapelu is the Portfolio Committee Chair on International Relations and Cooperation.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile will present Gauteng's 2025 medium-term budget policy statement to the legislature on Tuesday, 2nd December 2025 at 10 a.m. MEC Maile will use the mini-budget to outline the province's economic priorities, fiscal direction, and plans to drive inclusive growth and sustainable development over the medium term. Join the conversation about public finances on Facebook and X using hashtag Gauteng MTBPS 2025. This message is brought to you by the Gauteng Provincial Government.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. Sam from Randburg here. Sunday morning, rain is falling. By Maroon 5. Cheers.
Hey, John. This is Debbie. The song for me is Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens. Thank you for a great show.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the red garden.
So that was a song that was very much part of my youth. 1971 it came out, so I'd have been 12, but I'm 2 days old when I found this out, that it was actually a hymn first published in 1931, a Christian hymn that appeared in the second edition of Songs of Praise. So there you go. I didn't know that, actually, that this has a much, much longer timeline. 40 years before Cat Stevens did it. People were singing it in congregations all over the UK, I would imagine. Anyway, a couple of others. Edward says songs about morning. Kanye West's Good Morning. By the way, it was Carlos who also wanted that song played. So 2 for the price of 1 there. Let's get another message in.
You have turned my morning into dancing. You have turned my sorrow into joy. This is how we overcome. This is how we overcome. Spogazi, enjoying your show. Bye.
Good afternoon, Dr. John. The moment I heard the topic of your songs today, I thought of Kanye West's Good Morning. It goes something along the line, good morning, ooh, good morning. Melissa in Krugersdorp.
Hi. Good afternoon, John. The song that comes to mind that talks about morning, it's El Jarreau, Morning. Thanks. That's Patrick and Peary.
Yeah, I love that song. It's funny, actually, when we were talking about morning, that song absolutely popped into my head as well. Al Jarreau, from his 6th studio album, simply called Jarreau, came out in 1983. What else have we got? Love the fact that everyone's willing to sing. Robert says, my song would be Early Morning by Aha. I think this is their best song. I have to be very good to beat Take On Me. Jabulani, Touch Me in the Morning by Diana Ross. And there have been a couple of people, actually, who've picked out that particular Motown classic. Let's do some more of your voice notes, please.
Hi, John. John here from Randburg. Easy like a Sunday morning. Lionel Richie. Cheers.
No, it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow. Seems to me, girl, you know I've done all I can.
Lionel Richie, just a wonderful voice. By the way, I think it was someone on the BBC who took that song title, Easy Like a Sunday Morning, and turned it into Eze Like a Sunday Morning. And I think Arsenal fans will get the recipe after the North London derby a couple of days ago. What else have we got? No, thought we had one more song lined up. In the meanwhile, Jonathan sends us both Joni Mitchell songs, Morning Morgantown or Chelsea Morning. Both of them songs that I really enjoy. We've got somebody who wants to hear a Mikasa song. Yeah, let's take a listen to that.
Good morning to the world out there. Sanbonani, Ninjani out there. I said good morning to the world out there. Gitsi Sanbonani bo, Ninjani out there. I need a minute of your time to reflect, not neglect all the things that we have in this life. These streets that we live upon, these streets that we walk upon.
Not quite in the title, but definitely in the first line. Mikasa with These Streets. Bringing us to an end of 702 Drive this afternoon. Couple more morning songs that nobody put through, and we probably wouldn't have had time to get to all of them, but Angel of the Morning by Juice Newton, that's one that pops into my head. We did the Joni Mitchell tracks. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much. Up the Morning by Baby Shambles and In the Morning by Drake. I'm out of time. This is 702 Drive. I'm John Perlman. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud host of the Africa Impact Matters series podcast. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. Good evening on your Money Show tonight. The head of the new Large Business Forum at SARS, Natasha Singh, on encouraging voluntary compliance. Former Tourism SA Chair Opa Palane on the new SIU probe. Mark Swilling on how we can change our financial architecture to finance the infrastructure build. Also, we'll speak to the Zeda CEO, and from 7:30, Warren Ingram on where to invest when everything keeps